Alright, testing, 1, 2, 3. What's going on, fellow rogues? It's Mass Mayor here. Very early compared to like normal with the stream, but I was really excited about this. I didn't want to wait any longer. And so here we are. Anyways, welcome in, guys, for, as the name of the stream definitely entails, something very special today, based around one of my all-time favorite game series of all time. Obviously, kind of like, dressed for the occasion with the shirt I'm wearing. But anyways, welcome in for what's going to be an unboxing for the new Premium DNA figures I got from, the new Premium DNA figures, from Wave 1 of their Battletoads line, as well as, like, what's going to be, like, a partial playthrough for the original Battletoads game, and also, like, a full playthrough of Battletoads Arcade, which is something I've done, like, in my charity stream rotations before, and also did a full, like, playthrough of it, in Big DV43, like, several years back. So, it's probably going to be one of my most ambitious unboxing videos to date, probably, like, maybe rivaling the Quest 2 when I did, like, some time ago when I first got my Quest 2. So that being said, there's going to be timestamps in this video, kind of like to skip ahead to the unboxing, as well as to the actual gameplay, if that's what you guys are interested in more than anything. Because I'm going to be, like, explaining something in regards to, like, explaining a lot, based around, like, the actual story behind the Battletoads. Because I never really did that before. I've talked about how much I love the series, but what people may realize that the Toads actually do have a bit of backstory to them. So, yeah, to kind of like go ahead and get the start, we're going to go ahead and jump on into that, in regards to talking about, like, the game series. So, for those, like, that are more uninitiated, compared to, those who might be, like, go way back with Battletoads like I do, who kind of, like, maybe know more about them. To those, who it may be, before their time, Battletoads is a series that came out back in 1991 that was originally conceived to rival, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, obviously, it didn't really take off as much as TMNT did. Same with, like, a lot of other, series that came out back then with the whole concept of anthropomorphic animals, such as, Wild West Cowboys and Moon Mesa, SWAT Cats, Biker Mice from Mars, and one of my main favorites, that timeline, Street Sharks. None of those really took off as much as TMNT did, but still, each of those shows have, like, their own little fan followings. Me personally, Street Sharks, like I said, is one of my favorites, and obviously Battletoads is as well. Some of those shows even kind of have a little concept to them where they did, like, the whole favorite food thing, like TMNT did, with the Street Sharks favoring burgers and shakes. Even, like, famously in one of the earlier episodes, like, expressed that disgust for pizza, which is kind of a bit of a little dig at TMNT, and also the Biker Mice from Mars, their favorite food being hot dogs and root beer. So, all that's beside the point, just showing, like, a little bit more of my nerd cred right there. Battletoads came out, like, in 1991, which was about like, either a year or within a year of the first TMNT live-action movie. Around that time, the Mirage comics, were in full swing. The TMNT toy line was, was very popular. Obviously, TMNT Mania, like, was definitely, like, just making the rounds heavily around the time the Battletoads was, bought out. So even though Battletoads didn't, like, gain the same level of popularity as TMNT did, it still, again, has, like, its own cult following. They had, like, a game that came out in 2020 where they finally, renewed the series, bought the series back after, like, about 25 years. Even that game was kind of, like, hit and miss with me because as much as it was, like, a great beat-em-up, I, liked the game for what it was, but as a Battletoads fan, it kind of frustrated me that, like, a lot of, like, the main villains and also the Toads allies were absent from it, with one of them only being mentioned in, a comic book series, like, tied into the games. So, into that game. But the actual backstory of the Toads, like the official backstory that was done in Nintendo Power Magazine, is that contrary to what you might think of, how it is with TMNT, it wasn't the Toads weren't, like, originally, just normal frogs or toads or amphibians, whatever, that were, like, drenched in some kind of, like, radioactive ooze, or they weren't, like, aliens or anything like that. They actually were three game designers that basically were working on a game called Battletoads. And their boss, the company called, I think it was called Cycone, and one of the other developers there who created, like, this, I believe it was, like, the virtual reality system they used, like, to go inside games. I want to say that's what he made. Either way, Silas Voigtmeyer, he pretty much found out that the world of Battletoads, like the game they were working on, like, again, kind of a meta thing here, actually, I believe was a world, like, actually linked to a world ruled by someone called the Dark Queen, who would go on to become, like, the Toad's arch nemesis. And so Voigtmeyer, out of jealousy for the fact that the game programmer, like the ones who tested the game, and also the game itself was more popular than his own content, organized a virus. He created a virus to trap the game designers who would become the Battletoads in the game, in that world, and also permanently, change them into the Battletoads. So the Toads themselves are named after skin conditions. Rash, Zits, and Pimple. Prior to this, Rash was originally David Shar or Dave Shar. Zitz was originally Morgan Ziegler, and Pimple was originally known as George Pye. So yeah, the Toads actually had like actual names, prior to their whole skin condition thing. And so, following all this, they end up aligning with Professor T-Bird, who was basically their Splinter. He was the one who pretty much was the mentor of the Toads, one I think they also jokingly called Coach. And his whole thing is that he could use magic that could rival the Dark Queen's, but he elects not to use it. Instead, focuses on using science. And also, there's Princess Angelica, who the Toads pretty much, look after, try to, protect, with that actually being a key plot of the first game. There's a running joke in the series where the Toads tend to get kidnapped. At least one of them does. In the first game, it was Pimple and Princess Angelica got kidnapped because I believe that they were, I think, Pimple was escorting her somewhere. I can't remember where, but either way, the Toads had, a flying car called the Toadster that, I believe was shot down, and Pimple and Princess Angelica were kidnapped. That was happening in that game. In the Game Boy version, to kind of supplement the fact you only play as one character, Zitz was the only one you could play as, and both Rash and Pimple were kidnapped. And then Battletoads and Battlemaniacs, which is the Toads Super Nintendo outing, and also kind of brought back Silas Votmeyer and officially brought him in, I think, as a villain in the games, where they had to go to his world, his game world. Rash and Pimple had to go in there and rescue Zitz, and I can't remember her name. I believe it was the daughter of. I can't remember all the backstory of this because this is one of the Battletoads I didn't really spend that much time with. But either way, they had to rescue Zitz and in the damsel in distress of that game. And this is the first time in the Super Nintendo version where the Toads actually differentiated more, because prior to this they all were just palette swaps that had similar fighting mechanics, they all fought the same. But in this one, Rash was portrayed differently from Pimple, and they had their own fighting styles, which I'll get into in a bit. So yeah, that's basically how all that went in regards to those games. But then came Battletoads Arcade, where for the first time ever 3 people could play as all 3 Toads at the same time on the same screen. And then Battletoads 2020 of course brought this whole mechanic back, and you could play as all 3 Toads. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of a history lesson on the series. But in regards to the figures I'm going to be unboxing here today, I already have my Rash figure here that I did unpack. I took out of its its shipping box during one of my Spider-Man streams back in November. But we're gonna be doing the actual official proper unboxing of this today. Show you guys what it looks like first. But yeah, as you guys can see, Rash right here. We're gonna be doing the unboxing of him officially, and also I got these 2 right here, which the main one you guys obviously should be thinking about here. I got this massive box here, which I'm really excited about that one. Definitely excited about both. But this big one, yeah, probably gonna be one of the biggest action figures I've ever collected. But yeah, Battletoads, again, it's a series that I go way back with, and that back when in 1994, that's when I first got introduced to the series. I lived in Baltimore, Maryland, and we had a mall there, and my cousin was I was always going with my cousin to this arcade, and she was always playing Mortal Kombat, Samurai Showdown, Street Fighter, and stuff. And I was really hooked on Battletoads Arcade, and at the time I thought that was the only Battletoads game there was. We'll find out later there was more. And another thing to kind of to talk about as well before we get to the unboxing is that Battletoads is kind of a bit more unique compared to the other shows I was talking about, and that compared to them find more success with cartoons, and also some of them having toy lines. Street Sharks find a lot of success with its toys. Because God knows they were very popular back in the day. I mean, I remember how many of them I used to collect. And it had nothing to do with Vin Diesel endorsing them. Yeah, for those who don't know, that was a thing back in the day. Vin Diesel definitely loved his Street Sharks. Look it up online, you'll see. Let's just say it's Vin Diesel stuff from the 90s or whatever goes further than the whole breakdancing video he did. The man loved his Street Sharks. But yeah, go look it up. It's interesting. But yeah, I really was into collecting Street Sharks. I was watching the show and everything. Love Street Sharks. I love the other cartoons as well. SWAT Cats I was really big on. While pretty much several of them had video games. Biker Mice from Mars had a video game. And also I think Wild West Cowboys and Moon Base may have had a game. And SWAT Cats also had a Super Nintendo game. Street Sharks never really had one. But most of those series, were focused more on the cartoons, the success of the cartoons. And what toy lines toys there may have been. compared to Battletoads being like much more focal on the games and having a cartoon pilot that definitely was a low for the series. So the cartoon pilot, I say this because there's literally only just this one episode, and that was it. It basically had the Toads as high school students. I believe they had the same names, or I think they actually might have mixed two of the names up. I think in this one it may have been Rash that was Morgan, and it may have been Zitz that was Dave. I can't remember if they actually mixed their names up. I think they might have. I might have to begrudgingly and very reluctantly go back and watch the cartoon. But they changed it up to where the Toads, before they became the Toads, Rash had this whole greaser look where, you know, he wore like a leather jacket, had the whole cool punk kid thing going on, like the Fonz or whatever. Of course, the Fonz was never like really a punk rocker or whatever. He just had the whole greaser look to him. And then there was Zitz. You know, he had the whole stereotypical geek thing, and I believe Pimple had the whole big, you know, dumb jock concept going on. So they, again, like the cartoon pilot was very poorly received, and it never took off. And they completely changed up like the Toads' origins, and that they were willingly made into the Toads by Princess Angelica, if I remember correctly, because she had magic abilities just like in the games. And the sad thing about it is that Princess Angelica had more screen time, I think, in the cartoon than she actually has in the games. Like, Princess Angelica and T-Bird were supposed to show up in Battletoads Arcade, but they were completely cut from it. They both have actual sprites in Battletoads Arcade, but they weren't actually put into the game, which definitely sucks, because the thing is, the whole point behind the Toads, like, you know, is like they're supposed to be like, you know, protecting Princess Angelica, but she hasn't really had a whole lot of, you know, time. And what time they have shown her is that, you know, she's supposed to have been a damsel in distress in the Battletoads cartoon to fit in, and basically, you know, kind of like, you know, going out incognito in like, you know, in the real world or whatever. She took up, I think, like a job as like a worker at a donut shop, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna have to go back and look at and rewatch the cartoon. But yeah, she like actually, the Toads were willingly made into Battletoads like in the cartoon, compared to like what I explained like with the canon Nintendo Power origin, which was that, you know, they were forced to become the Battletoads by Silas Votmeyer due to his virus, and then like, you know, trapped in the Dark Queen's world. So yeah, that's a lot of, like, I've kind of like, you know, regards to the backstory of the Toads, more than people probably like, you know, really thought there was. Again, like they didn't really take off nearly as much as TMNT, but there are like similarities between them and the Turtles in a way, and they do have like a cult following. Like, there's a lot of people that do love the Battletoads. One of the other key things, of course, that the Battletoads games are known for is their difficulty, especially the original outing. Me personally, I've never actually gotten past the third stage, which is definitely one of the most notorious stages, the Turbo Tunnel. I'm gonna see if I can at least get at that today when I play the game in a little while during the stream. But yeah, Battletoads is a series that still is pretty well beloved. Again, it's got like a cult following, has its own brand of popularity. I just wish that what Rare would definitely do is do a proper follow-up to Battletoads Arcade. That was the original last game of the series before we got like the 2020 version. As much as I loved the 2020 version as a renewal of the series that everyone had been asking for, that everyone had been wanting Battletoads like to be brought back, the problem with it is that they changed so much. You know, the Battletoads has their like own unique rogues gallery outside the Dark Queen, you know, in regards to her minions, such as General Slaughter, Robo-Manus, Big Blag, and, you know, so on. They were, like, none of them were in the game except for Dark Queen, and her role was completely changed, in that she was more of an ally to the Toads. And Professor T-Bird and Angelica, neither of them showed up in the 2020 game as well, which also frustrated me. So I really would love to see Rare come back, you know, come in with Battletoads game that takes like that whole feel of what I grew up on, like, you know, with like the whole gritty, you know, not, you know, edgy 90s feel, like, you know, the badassery that the Toads were originally known for. Because it's not really the art style that I hated about like the 2020 version, you know, even though they went this whole Teen Titans Go route with it, the way it kind of looked to me. I personally just wish it would have been like more tied to its roots. Even if they would have just like, you know, had like the original enemies show up, I would have been happy with that. You know, I didn't hate the game. I did enjoy it. Back when I streamed on Glimish, I believe I did like a full playthrough of the entire game in one sitting. I think it took me about like 5 hours to complete it. And eventually I may even actually go back through and replay it again for this YouTube channel. But, you know, if I was to do that, I definitely would like to try, like, you know, put at least some time into playing the other Battletoads games beforehand, even if I couldn't actually complete any of them. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and get on into this. I'm going to go through and do, like, the unboxing for the Rash figure first, as I've already got that opened up. Then we're gonna unpack these, and I'll be showing these off. So I'm also gonna be very careful with this. I'm gonna be putting this back in its box afterwards. Eventually, that I might actually, if I can get like a proper case for them, would like to have something on display here for like the toads, for like the figures, all like doing like a little fight scene thing. But I'm gonna be careful with this because I know I read someone's Reddit where they'd tried posing this very figure I got right here, and both of its legs had broke off. So I personally would hope that that maybe it was just like a manufacturing error with like his figure. Because paying like $50 for this plus shipping, like $10 for shipping, so paying about $62. I would hope that like these figures would like have like higher quality to them than that. So I'm gonna like be putting it back in its box after I do like kind of like break it out to show you guys like more detailed look at it. Because again, like I did before, I just showed like this, and definitely a greatly detailed figure. I absolutely love how it looks. And I definitely don't want this to break or anything. So I'm gonna try to like do this like while keeping the box as intact as possible. And this isn't gonna be a professional level review. Like there's definitely people on YouTube. You want one of those, you can go and watch that. I'm just gonna like get this out of here and kind of like give my take on it and everything. But I'm not by no means whatsoever a professional level reviewer. So definitely don't think me as that. But just kind of like want to go through and just like show what the figures look like. And the reason I'm gonna be playing the games, specifically Battletoads Arcade, because these are like more based around like Battletoads Arcade, especially considering that in the original Battletoads, again the toads were pure palette swaps. So Rash didn't even really have his sunglasses and anything other than like let's just say he never really wore his sunglasses in game. Like I think there actually were some things where there was like little cut scenes or whatever possibly, or things where it showed Rash where he had his sunglasses on, but he's obviously well known for that. So speaking of such, we're gonna be talking about like their personalities along the way. So Rash would probably be seen as more like the Michelangelo of the group, and the fact that he's kind of like the wild card. He's like the one that's obsessed with like being showing like being very flashy and everything. Like the way he fights with like a lot of different kicks and everything. But he's like definitely like the Michelangelo of the group, the party animal, the cool guy and everything, because he basically has like his own unique style to him, with everything he does. And again, he has this whole little cool edge to him. In Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, he was kind of like personified as like the fast and nimble Toad, who again fought with like a whole bunch of kicks and everything. And he's also is pretty much, even though Zitz is the leader, Rash is actually the most popular out of the Toads. For anyone who watched like my playthrough of Grounded, you may have saw like my reaction when I went to Toad Swamp and found that it was this big, well not really big, technically normal size, just like maybe even smaller, but they have like a Rash action figure in area designated as Toad Swamp. So you guys, if you go back and watch that, or if you actually watch that stream, you saw like how excited I got when I saw the action figure, and that's why I started talking about wish I had one, and well I have one. But usually when they do like crossovers, if only one of the Toads is involved, it's usually Rash. Like he was like the one that they did a figure for in Grounded, while in Killer Instinct 2013, I believe like that version of Killer Instinct came out in 2013. Rash appeared as a guest fighter alongside General Rom from Gears of War and the Arbiter from Halo. So Rash represented the Battletoads in that, while all three Toads in the PC and Xbox version of Shovel Knight appeared as like characters that each of them had their own like little challenges they had you do, that you had to fight all three of them in a boss battle, resulting in you getting like a special set of armor from the Toads as a gift. So yeah, they've had like their own little Wreck-It Ralph experience with like doing crossovers. So I liked how they did the packaging here, and that they kind of like double layered it. They kind of like protect the figure more, I guess, like during shipping or just in general. Like I'm always a fan like whenever like you have like a figure, even though it's a little bit hard to get out of the packaging. I'm trying to be very delicate with here because it's taped down. I do like whenever they do like have like double layers. So showing this right here. Also, I noticed that Rash has like multiple sets of hands here. So kind of like just get into the figure itself first. So again, I just love the detail on this figure, like just how like obviously it looks a lot better now I got it out of the packaging. One thing I also, of course, love about this, they did, I think these are actually separate from him. Well, I'm not gonna mess around with them too much. Yeah, but what I like is that they did give him his little armbands. In Battletoads like Arcade, one thing I think that a lot of people notice is that Rash didn't have his armbands. This is like one of his trademarks compared to the others. Again, the whole cool persona to him. Rash is mostly, of course, known for his sunglasses. That's his main thing. Of course, the sunglasses can't be moved or anything, but yeah, he's got like the little bandanas on his arms, kind of like go with his flair. And the belt looks like it's separate from. Yeah, the belt's separate, so it's actually not attached to him. It's not like a part of the mold. I want to see if he actually can do this, because if he could, this actually might be like something I'd do for like a setup for like the Yep, he can do it. So obviously I don't want to do it too much. So obviously one of my favorite attacks to do in so I'm having too much fun with this figure already. With Battletoads Arcade is that, you know, each of the toads has their own little thing where if you got an enemy on both sides of you, kind of like standard of some beat 'em ups, they have like, you know, a little thing where you can attack enemies on both sides. And Rash has my favorite out of the three. And that, given that I think canonically, you know, he's got an obsession with action movies. Obviously, when you think the 90s, you think one of the biggest action stars that was Jean-Claude Van Damme. So him having like a split kick, I like how he actually is segmented. He's actually articulated to where he can do his split kick. So, I don't have like all the Battletoads figures for Wave 1. I would like to get some of the other ones, but they're like still a bit pricey. Like they have like Rat Bones, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, Rat Bones and Psycho Pig. Those are like, you know, some of the standard mooks you see from the games. I would like to get those, just like set up like a little fight scene thing and maybe have like, you know, Rash doing a split kick, you know, like knocking the crap out of two of them. But yeah, again, it goes with like Rash's whole cool flair to him, and the fact that, you know, he's the one that does like all the flashy moves. He does front flips and everything. But yeah, the figure is definitely posable, like very posable. Again, I'm watching like the whole ball joint thing here. So yeah, the figure's like definitely got like a lot of articulation to it. Can we do like a muscle pose? Yep. Of course, we can do like some muscle posing and everything, because toads are known for being like pretty buff. You know, like, I mean, even like, you know, the way like, you know, Rash fights in Killer Instinct, he literally has a thing where he does like a Cossack dance, like, you know, a Russian Cossack dance, where his feet are morphing, and the whole time he's doing it, he's just like flexing, which I thought was just, that's so Rash. Again, I'm trying to like watch how much I pose him here, because I don't want to break him, which I feel like hopefully the one guy, I'm hoping it was just like a manufacturing error he got, and maybe like I'm hoping that Premium DNA maybe like rectified that, maybe send him a new figure or whatever, because I feel like paying $50 for a figure just for like both legs to break when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with, which is posing it. Yeah, I feel like they definitely hopefully would have rectified that, especially considering like, you know, if he had to wait as long for his figures as I did. Because that's one thing I will say to you guys, if you do shop from Premium DNA, when I, you know, got my Rash figure, it took them a few weeks to get it to me, but when I ordered those two right there, I ordered one on November 6th and the other one on November 11th, and I just received one of them 2 days ago and the other one yesterday. So yeah, it took like over a month for me to get those. So I've also heard horror stories of people like, you know, spending like, you know, taking like a lot longer to get their figures. So if you order from, just keep that in mind. Not trying to bash Premium DNA. I feel like their customer service definitely could use some work. Just know that it's a possibility you might be waiting a bit for your figures if you do order them. So yeah, he's definitely got like a lot of posability. Even his head's a little bit posable. He can actually, you know, yeah, you can kind of like, you know, you can pose like his little head right here and everything. So yeah, does it say how many points of articulation he's got? I think it should. I know the General Slaughter, I think that figure's supposed to have like, you know, about like 32 points of articulation, but yeah, Rash definitely has like some articulation on him. So going into the accessories, so obviously they got the big bad boot. I don't know if that actually is like the like actual name for this version of it, but usually the Toads are known for the fact that just about every game they have a habit of kicking the ever living crap out of like an enemy, usually when they're down, and like, and their foot turns into a giant boot. That's the key thing about the Toads, is that the way they fight, they don't use weapons traditionally like the Ninja Turtles do. Their bodies are weapons. They actually can morph their bodies into different, you know, weapons and everything. So for Rash, it's basically like a lot of you know, kind of going with, again, like with his whole style, it's, you know, he does like a lot of roundhouse kicks, and he basically turns his feet into things like, you know, axes, you know, morning stars, things like that. So yeah, this obviously is like one of the, like, you know, normally when the Toads like turn their foot into a boot, it normally doesn't have the spikes on the bottom, so I think this is one that's unique to Rash. So this would be like a good way to pose him, like have like his foot turned to the boot. Let's see if I can actually do this real quick, just kind of show you. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just gonna pop off. Should have like a ball joint right here. I can just get it off correctly. Hoping it's gonna trying to like make sure I get this in the right area so it doesn't like break it or anything. I don't know how to do this. I don't want to, like, you know, break the wrong end of it off. Let's see here, because it looks to me like all this is segmented. Weird. I think I know how it works. No, it's not there either. Is it? Yeah. No. How you break this? How you do this? I'm trying to like, do this where I don't actually end up breaking him or whatever, but maybe just be like one of his feet is the one that does it and the other one doesn't. It looks like this is like a right foot, so that's the right one. Unless you're supposed to, no, it's not it either. Because like I said, I just don't want to snap this figure's leg off. See, he's got like his knee pads right here. Okay, I got a little worried there because I was pulling that. I was like, I think I just broke it, but no. All right, we got it. Whew. Got a little worried there. I thought it because this thing is like it's this little peg right there, so I was really concerned about that. See if I can kind of like slide this in. One thing about it, I mean, it's kind of like it's just this hard, it's this plastic and everything, so I'm trying to actually get it in there. I'm trying to make sure I don't break anything. Yeah, I think I got it. So yeah, obviously you can see right here, I kind of like, got on there and everything. So pretty much, of course, like Rash's whole thing is that when he does like the kick, he basically, puts up like that and everything and just, I didn't get it. Yeah, it's going to be really kind of like, I'm paying like $60 for this figure. It's definitely like, kind of like really like nervous about actually trying to like, pop this thing. Because like I said, I really don't want to break this thing off. It seems like it's really like kind of like a bit flimsy-ish. So I'm going to put his other foot back on or whatever. Like I said, because it's just at the very least, like I said, I'm not a professional toy reviewer. I mean, I just like kind of like wanted to just kind of show this off at like a little more detail compared to like me just having it in its box before. But yeah, that's pretty much they have like the big bad boot. If you guys want to like get this figure to actually try to like force that or whatever, it's just like I was trying to put it in there and it kind of felt like the thing was actually trying to bend a little bit and I kind of got a little bit worried because I don't want to break my figure. But yeah, that's like the big bad boot one. Moving on to the next thing. So this is like, this one I actually might try to work with a little bit more because it seems like it would be a little bit easier. Yeah, this one's going to be like more simple to work with. So another thing that Rash does, see, look, just like that. So I know what this one is without a shadow of a doubt here. So Rash, his down attack and like basically when an enemy is knocked down in Arcade Battletoads, as you guys have seen when I played it like during my charity streams, Rash has this whole move he does where he raises his arm up and basically spikes out his fingers and then just like very much just smashes this, basically just like stabs like his enemy through the face with like these sharpened fingers. And that's obviously what this is right here. So because you can kind of tell like the digits are a little bit sharper or like a little bit more extended and everything. So yeah, that's obviously what this one right here is in regards to like that particular hand. Take that back off. And also, when I do like the playthrough of Arcade Battletoads in a little while, I'm gonna be doing something differently. Normally, I only play as Rash, but I'm gonna be going through like pretty much probably like every death or so, like for a little while. I'm gonna like play as each Toad. I'm gonna switch out each one. So I'll be playing as both Zitz and Pimple today as well. So obviously this one right here, this is Rash's battle axe leg. Like from one of his this is pretty much his air attack when he jumps up. He does like a roundhouse kick and or like a jumping, like spinning, roundhouse, and he turns his leg into a axe. And in the arcade game, when he does this, like if it's a smash hit, if it's actually like a killing blow, it usually can a lot of times like cut off an enemy's head. So yeah, there's that right there. Like I said, I'm just watching what I might actually watch like someone's tutorial to see like how much see like if I watch someone else's unboxing like in regards to when they switched out the legs. I know I switched out like the right part right there with the ball joint. It might actually have been like, this part right here is where I was supposed to like, do it. I don't know. But it did seem like, when I like switched out his foot or whatever and like tried to put like the big boot on there, it seemed like that actually might have been the right one. But it's just I might watch someone else's unboxing just to see like, how much they had to force it on there. Because like I said, I just after like, seeing that one dude and he actually had pictures of it where like, both legs, like the entire legs both just broke off. I really, just trying to watch how delicate I am with this figure because I do not want to break it. And also, it's kind of like Rash. I just noticed like a little top heavy, so he kind of doesn't want to stand on his own right there. I'll put him like right there. Yeah, might not be good. But you notice how like it's kind of like a little tricky to like kind of stand him up, because I guess it's those muscles. Him hitting the gym and everything. He must skip leg day. Put him right, like right. I'm just gonna lay him down. Okay, and the other accessories we have right here, it's not really much, so I'm not even gonna really take these out. But he has like some different hands right here. So he has like, you know, 2 more hands. These are for gripping. So obviously, I guess like avoid, because I mean, there has been like some artwork where the Toads actually have actual weapons in their hands. And in the first Battletoad, and obviously, you know, as we've seen in Battletoads Arcade and the other games, the Toads aren't opposed to using actual weapons outside turning their bodies into weapons. So these are for gripping, of course, and these are, I don't know. I think like maybe like for like probably like holding up like, you know, like a enemy or something, because it's got like a wider grip. This has more of a wider grip. I'm gonna stop dropping these hands at some point. And then like that one's for like a more closed grip. While the ones that with Rash that he came with are of course where his hands are clenched. So yeah, definitely absolutely love this figure, but I'm gonna be putting it back in its case until further notice, because again, I just, you know, let me see, I should be able to cut. Well, at least he kind of went back in there pretty easily. That's a good thing. I was just able to like pose him right back to where he was for the most part. So yeah, that went really well. I think like he should be fine for the most part. Kind of like having to work on him a little bit here. We'll put these back there. Like I said, eventually, if I have like a little stand thing and I can actually get them properly posed, I'll probably like actually have him on display out of the box. Set up a fight scene, especially if I can get like some more of the other figures. Because this, like I said, this is wave 1 that this that he's a part of. So it's like a whole nother wave. You just gotta get this thing down right here. Actually, it might be where it's supposed to be. And plus, I just love the design of the box. You know, the box is really well done. They have one they did for Zitz that I'm a big fan of the way they did it, because Zitz had a completely different color palette in the original NES Battletoads, and they changed it up later. And they have like a special edition figure. I've seen it on sale on eBay for not really that expensive, all things considered. The Toads, like normally, I think like, you know, like I said, their figures tend to be about like 60 bucks, but this one's about 100 and something. But it was a special edition figure. They had like the boxing was made to resemble like the Battletoads NES cartridge. So yeah, see, he's basically almost like back in the box, practically almost the same. And another thing to kind of tell you guys as well is I saw this figure just the other day at FYE. So if you don't want to order the figure from Premium DNA directly, considering it could take a while to get it, check FYE. They might actually have these figures there. I do know, and there may be other stores that sell them too. So yeah, back, you know, showing the boxing once again. I'm going to show the outside one more time. This is basically, you know, what that looks like. And of course on the side, it shows like the game sprites from Battletoads Arcade. So showing him doing the roundhouse, showing him doing the big bad boot, and also the Morning Star thing. I just realized I didn't actually show off the Morning Star, I don't think. But either way, you can kind of see it on the back right there. I forgot to actually share that one. But yeah, he has like little Morning Star leg, which is pretty much enough for one of his standard, like his standard, you know, combo enders. So yeah, again, not professional reviewer, just showing off the figures, but I don't know. Whenever my Instagram is currently deactivated. I've never really like, you know, dabbled in figure photography, but I think it would be pretty cool to maybe like do like a little figure where it has like, you know, where I got my figures actually trying to act like they're pulling some Toy Story crap, trying to actually go to war with each other. I say that as if like what I mean is like it makes it seem like figures actually are alive. That's what I mean. Just get it back in the box. See, now when I'm trying to get it back in there, there we go. Okay, so that was the Rash figure. Now, put that right over there. Now we're gonna get to the actual new ones. So this one right here, see, do I have anything? I think I should be able to just go and just get this on open. This ain't the box I'm worried about messing up. Yeah. So get this open. Get this out of the way. All right, so this has very similar packaging, like actually dead-on packaging, like just like the Rash figure. So get this out. There we go. Right here, we'll get that right there. All right. All right, so this one is for Zitz, who is the leader of the Toads and can be considered like, if you wanted like counterpart the Ninja Turtles, just like I did with like not Wrath, Mikey and Rash. Zitz would be a combination of both Leonardo and Donatello because he's the leader of the group. He's also the most tech suave. So, yeah, this is basically kind of like showing like a bit of an idea on how, like, you know, Zitz does his smash hits, and that Zitz compared to Rash in arcade in Battletoads Arcade, like I said, Rash is the more nimble one. Zitz is the one that's kind of like more of a well balanced character. So he kind of like balances out speed and power, like kind of like a combination of Rash and Pimple, I suppose. So Zitz, his whole thing is a lot of his smash hits like kind of like involve complex parts like machines and everything. So let's go ahead and actually get this out. So the first time doing this or whatever, kind of like it has a little more pull on it. Okay. And so yeah, this is the Zitz figure, and I also notice he's got two different heads here. Rash only had like one head. Zitz has two. I need to think of, like, actually look into and see exactly what that one is, like the reason why he's got like that right there. Pretty sure there might be some story behind it. But yeah, this is the Zitz figure. Like I said, the toy, like I think it was like Toy Con or whatever it was. There was like an exclusive one where he had like more of like a what kind of color green would it be? It was like a brighter green. It definitely wasn't forest green, but he had like more of a lighter green. I think like in comparison, like kind of like comparable to I think like when he first appeared. So it would be cool to have that figure, but I'm definitely still content with this one because it matches like his more modern appearances. He's kind of like got more of a, I guess you can say like a teal color to him compared to Rash having like more like a proper green. Zitz is the teal one, and Pimple is the brown one. And another thing about the Toads that kind of makes them stand out is their heights. So Rash and Zitz, you actually might be surprised to know this or whatever, but they're actually taller than I am. All three Toads are actually taller than me. I'm 6 foot. Rash, I think it's about like 6 foot. I can't remember, but I know it's like something in regards to like the milli-inches, or where you want to call them, like the the smaller inches compared to the inches. He's like a bit taller than me, and Zitz, I would say, Zitz stands a bit above Rash. Pimple is 7 feet tall, but kind of fits the fact that since I don't have a Pimple figure, because unfortunately they don't have Pimple yet. He's supposed to be coming in Wave 2, I think, alongside with the Dark Queen, from what I've heard. The thing about Pimple, because I'm going to go into the thing here, as you guys saw, I talked about Rash when I was unboxing his figure, and I was talking about Zitz unboxing his. Can't do that with Pimple, like I said, because he doesn't have a figure yet. But Pimple, like as you probably can figure, with him being 7 feet tall, he's the resident muscle of the group, and he'd be comparable to Raphael from Ninja Turtles, considering that Pimple likes to fight. But I think like a lot of times he's usually seen as like he's more calm, but or at least I know in 2020 version of Battletoads, he calmed down a lot, but still had this whole side to him where you pissed him off, yeah. But yeah, Pimple has the whole concept to like, because Raph could definitely be seen as the muscle of the Turtles, because he's the one that goes out there and likes to fight. Is probably like the more physically imposing. Like in a lot of appearances, Raph has more muscle to him. So Pimple could be seen as like the Raph of the group. Again, like he's more physically imposing. The way Pimple fights is he turns his body into like into blunt weapons. Like one of them is like he can turn his hand into a massive hammer when he does like his little down smash hit. In comparison to Rash using like the finger jab, and Zitz, as I kind of already showed right there, using a drill. Pimple just turns his foot into like this massive weight and just stomps on his enemy. And he can turn his hand into into an anvil. And when he does like his dash attack, he turns his head into this giant football helmet. And you hear like him. I don't know if it's him or like the announcer of the game or the commentator for Battletoads Arcade. By the way, someone yells touchdown when he does it. So I'm thinking when they do the Pimple figure, it would be cool to actually have the football helmet. But I know that the giant hammer is definitely gonna have to be a given. And since they did do the down smash hits, for the finishing blows for Rash and Pimple, Rash and Zitz, they're definitely gonna probably have to have like the like the 1 ton or whatever it is, like they use to stomp on them. But that's the thing also. For Wave 2 of the Battletoads line, like I said, Pimple and I believe Dark Queen have been announced. But there are like some definite hopefuls. In regards to like what else I'd like to see for Wave 2. Like personally, I feel like it'd be right if the Toads did get like some more of their support, like their allies as figures. So if we got Princess Angelica, even though again she hasn't been really given a whole lot of like the limelight like she should have, it would be cool if they had like they gave Angelica a figure, and also of course T-Bird, because he's like the major support character of the Toads throughout the games. I really would like to see them do something with T-Bird. I feel like he definitely deserves a figure. I would definitely buy that. But in regards to like the Dark Queen side, like her minions, we've already got General Slaughter. We got like some of her little mooks that you fight like in the stages. But there's so much potential for other characters they could do. I personally would like to see, more than anything, I'd like to see them do a Robo Manus figure. I like to see Robo Manus and maybe Blag. Because really, like, the main 3 heavy hitters she's got is Slaughter, Blag, Big Blag, and Robo Manus. I think Robo Manus usually is considered her second in command. It's just, when you really think about, like, the way they portray him in the games, it's very complex because just about every Battletoads, Manus is portrayed very differently. And scaling-wise, considering what I'll be showing you guys in a bit after this figure, the problem with Manus is that in Battletoads Arcade, like, he was basically, even though not sprite-wise, because, you didn't see the entirety of him on screen, this is basically going in hand with that because they couldn't actually show the entirety of him to match his size. Even compared to General Slaughter, who canon is actually supposed to be about 10 feet tall, and Blag, who can change his size, to literally, when I think, like, when they're talking about his size in one of the games, it said, like, the description was he can't use a yardstick. And then, like, for weight, I think it was, like, getting bigger all the time or whatever. So, Blag can change his size. Manus in Battletoads Arcade, as you guys saw when I fought him in the final boss battle, he was, like, I think, like, canonically in the game was about, like, 76 feet tall. So, if they did a Manus figure, he'd have to be gigantic if they wanted to, like, scale things properly. But I would really like to see them do a Manus figure and see a Blag figure because, again, those are, like, the Dark Queens, like, main heavy hitters outside of Slaughter. Even though Slaughter, tends to sometimes be a joke character, in Battletoads for the Game Boy, I think he was, like, the Stage 1 boss. In Battletoads Arcade, he was, like, the Stage 1 boss. Though that was also my favorite boss battle in Battletoads Arcade. And, I believe, I think in Battletoads for the, for the NES, I think he might have been Stage 8 boss. Like, General Slaughter's not always, like, the best Stage 1 boss. I think in Battletoads Double Dragon, he was, like, I think, like, the Stage 5 boss. But, can't remember. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, here's the Zitz figure. So, obviously, very well detailed as well. I like how they also have, like, they, of course, made sure to put, like, little details right there because he's got, like, his little communicator gauntlet. In Battletoads Arcade, like, in between each stage, I heard that originally Professor T-Bird was supposed to be the one that talked to the toads between the stages. But in Battletoads Arcade, whenever, like, you start a stage up, it shows, like, Zitz, like, kind of like doing like that, like on his communicator thing or on his wrist gauntlet, and it brings in a transmission from whatever the boss of that stage is going to be, with, like, stats on them and everything. So definitely loving, the design of the Zitz figure. Again, he doesn't really have, like, as much flair to him as Rash, but that's understandable. Rash, of course, is the one that has to, like, be the one who's extra. Rash has to make a point that he's him, and let's be real, he technically is. He's the most popular of the Toads. But I do definitely love, how, again, Premium DNA, their lack of succinctness in regards to getting figures to you aside. I'm going to speak on that, like, as a customer of them, who actually paid, for these products and everything. They make some damn high quality figures. I absolutely love the design of this. It looks like he just jumped right off the game. They definitely did my boys, some really good, they did them justice here. And I think it's because Premium DNA, I believe they're actually fans themselves. Another figure that they've got that I really want, I absolutely used to play the hell out of Earthworm Jim back in the day, and they got an Earthworm Jim line. I really would like to get the figures of Jim himself as well as Psychro. But, again, the main figure I'm waiting for them to do is for them to do Wave 2 of this, so I can get my Pimple figure, so I can have all 3 Toads. If I could get any other figure, it'll be Pimple. But, again, I definitely want to get Dark Queen if they do the figure of her, as well as T-Bird. They put out one for him, Angelica, and I really want a Robo Manus figure. Maybe even, like, possibly have, like, a vehicle thing for the Toadster. But, yeah, they did, like, Zitz justice here as well. Again, like, the belt right here is not attached to it, so it kind of, like, just moves around. Now, going into his smash hits, his little accessories here. So another thing about Zitz is that he wears gloves. So, there's kind of like, similar thing with Rash. And then we have, like, the wide grip one here. And then we got, like, a closed grip, a set of hands as well. So that would, of course, be, like, for, like, having a wide grip and, like, a closed grip for, like, that. And again, they have the extra face here. I'm not entirely sure about what... I mean, I'm going to go and say this... Oh, that was probably a bad idea. Yeah, I should have tipped the thing, try to get everything out, knowing there's, like, other pieces. Let me kind of, like, do like this, see if I can, like, just pop it out. But I also don't want to damage the, damage the blister pack. I don't think this is really blister packaging. But I just don't want to damage the, the mold. So this is just nightmare fuel, just seeing this by itself. But yeah, I mean, just imagine, you're sleeping, all of a sudden you see, like, this just creeping up, like, out the corner of your room when you wake up. Like, imagine, like, a paralysis demon, like, with this bug right here. I know there's probably, like, something lore-wise or, like, some, like, concept art-wise behind, like, this whole Zitz thing. It definitely, like, kind of like, when you look at like the fact that Rash has the whole like the whole cheesy ass grin like himself and everything, I probably would actually like to like switch out like this face. I think that I actually prefer this one for Zitz. So yeah, kind of like doing it like this if I can without actually taking the other one off. I mean, I could just take it off, but yeah, you can kind of like see. Yeah, that's kind of like doesn't really like do it much. Could just like pop the other. I'm gonna want to do that. Yeah, it's not really that hard to do it. Now that's Nightmare Fuel. Yeah, there we go. So I kind of like actually might want to keep this face. It actually, because it differentiates him more from Rash. Because again, Rash had like the same, wide mouth, cheesing. Or like, like just toothy cheese or whatever. And this one right here kind of like definitely, differentiates Zitz. And I'm pretty sure with Pimple or whatever, they're probably going to like, definitely have him like have like a serious face. Because, even though Zitz is the more calm and collected one, obviously with Pimple being like the brawler, like the brute, they're probably gonna have like some kind of like a little enraged face for Pimple or something like that. So this is another one of Zitz's smash hits where like he has one where he just like balls his fit, like his hand just turns big, he gets like the spikes right here and he just knocks the crap out of someone. So that's this one right here for Zitz. And of course the one of the most famous moves he did like in Battletoads Arcade, which was his drill, which this thing is massive. So the only thing about this is if we were gonna try to reenact what he did, in the game, and it has like this definitely like cavity right there, definitely you can put like the full amount of I guess like his arm in there, so a good bit of his arm probably maybe will come off right there. The only thing about it is that it's almost like it's basically about matches Zitz's size, only by like about an inch or like a couple inches. So considering that when Zitz does the attack, he kind of like bends down or he's like down on one knee. If I was to have like one of like the little minion figures, and did this, I don't know how I actually be able to pull it off because like bending Zitz down, I might only be able to like kind of like reenact like where pretty much he had like the drill up like he was about to like skewer them. I don't know. I might actually toy around with if I get some of the minion figures because those are about $40 to get. Like obviously it would be kind of like pointless to try to deal with Rat Bones because Rat Bones doesn't have any organs for Zitz to attack, but it would like be cool to try to reenact it at least maybe for like some figure photography. I want to try to dabble into that. But now this thing right here just itself, holy crap, like so that's like Zitz's little shovel like bulldozer battering ram thing. This thing like takes up the entirety of this whole blister packaging on the back of it. So yeah, obviously how we do this is we would like have to disconnect both like pop off both of Zitz's hands and then attach this to it. So this is like his dashing thing, similar to Rash's dash being like the big boot where he just like kicks him dead in the face with like the spiked shoe. This is Zitz's where he kind of like jumps goes forward and bulldozes them. And for Pimple, the variant will be like with the football helmet. So just try to see if I can get out. I can see like the pop points here, or like where it's kind of be a pain to get this out. This is in there. There we go. Okay, so let's see how it works. So it's kind of like nice how they did this here. So it'll make it like easy to attach it or whatever. Because what they did is they segmented this. So they have like, oops. So they have this right here, and then you pretty much do like this. So you kind of like just pop this on. So what you pretty much would do, I don't know if we can get it in there. There we go. Yeah, so you do like this. And so that way you can kind of like attach both these to Zitz, and then you can just like kind of like pop this on afterwards. I guess that will kind of make it easier. Problem is I'm just trying to get it off now. Well, this thing ain't stuck. Well, the good news is that it definitely sticks or whatever, so that way you ain't got to worry about it coming loose and the figure falling. But I don't know if I can get it back. There we go. So I do it from the other side. Got a little worried there because I was like, wait, I want to get this back in its packaging. But that's nice right there, the fact that this locks pretty well in there. So you ain't got to worry about like trying to put like attach the figure and try to oppose, and having this right here like pulling loose and then the figure falling off a table or something. So it definitely it's on there, so that way you ain't got to worry about your figure falling or anything. So Premium DNA, really good molding right there. And go and get that back in there. So yeah, definitely digging how well they did Zitz, but Premium DNA, I want that Pimple figure. Y'all need to get on that. I mean, I know it's gonna take some time, but at the same time, they also have another figure I'm interested in as well. For those who play Clay Fighter back in the day, I absolutely love that game as well. God, I spent so much time on Clay Fighter. And even like was in like jumped on a couple of tournaments at Blockbuster they had for Clay Fighter 2, Clay Fighter Tournament Edition. Premium DNA has a bad Mr. Frosty figure they're working on. Can't wait to get my hands on that. I personally wish they would like do figures like Ichabod Clay. I think they said it's gonna be a line of Clay Fighter figures. So Bad Mr. Frosty, of course, is gonna be leading the charge. He's pretty much the mascot of the series. But I really do want to see them do something with Ichabod Clay or Tiny even Taffy. That was like another one I played as a lot. I'd love to also see them do something with Blob, but we'll see how they do it. I'm just trying to figure out how this goes back in there. I think it goes in like this, maybe. I think I got it right here. Just trying to like. I know it took me a little bit to get it out. I don't know. I'm trying to see because the mold right here is. Okay, that's obviously supposed to go like... I think I got it. I said that before. Famous last words. Yeah, it's weird, because, I mean, I got it out of here, no problem. Now I can't get it back in. Alright, I'm trying to... Okay, that's where the piston things are right there. So I just gotta... Ah! There we go. Kind of got my hand a little bit right there. Alright, since I didn't really pose zits that much, it shouldn't be no problem to kind of, like, you know, get all this back in there. But again, once they actually put the pimple figure out, I'm going to be on that in a heartbeat as quick as I can, so I can complete the set. Now, I'm going to keep Zitz's face, you know, as this one, because, you know... But I do like the swappable heads on that. So I just need to look it up, because I'm pretty sure it's like some kind of concept art or something, or some kind of, like, in-game thing where Zitz had this face. I just don't remember it. I mean, the thing about Rash, like, okay, well, that one's understandable. You know, he's always cheesing. Like, Rash is always smiling his ass off. Step back a little bit, and then get this one back in here. The only other thing I wish they would have done with the figures is maybe had like some kind of little background thing they would have included with them, like for like one of the stages, so you could have like, you know, done like that with figure photography. But you know, it is what it is. And if you want something like that, you could probably maybe like find. I figure, you know, you could probably like maybe find like the backgrounds online, just print them off or something. So yeah, that's it. And now for the big one. And when I say big one, I mean big one. I don't know how big exactly it's going to be, but I do know it came in a big box. So, Premium DNA didn't just do the Battletoads figures, as I said. They've also done, like, you know, the enemies. And they got, like, a couple of in-boss figures. One of them is for Vermin, who you guys may know is the one I kept, like, you know, when I played through Battletoads Arcade, the one that came in on Stage 3. The tall rat that I was continuously, you know... For those that haven't played Battletoads Arcade, it's more edgy than the other games. Like, more definitely, you know, rated more teen for teen. Because it has, like, blood, you know, gore and stuff. There's even some cut audio samples where, like, the toads and the enemies actually, you know, were gonna cuss. Like, you know, with, like, some of the enemies even, like, calling the toads assholes and things like that. Yeah, look it up. They actually have, like a little cut files, like, you know, page, like, for Battletoads Arcade, where aside from showing Oink and, like, models, like, sprites for, like, you know, Princess Angelica and also for T-Bird, it turns out there actually was going to be profanity in the game, but I guess they cut that out because, you know, probably wasn't going to be a good idea to have stuff like that, you know, in a arcade in the 90s where children were going to be, but hey, this is also the time of Mortal Kombat. But yeah, they had it where originally, you know, where the enemies would call, you know, the toads like asshole and things. And I think they even had like files for the toads where they would say things like, you know, let's kick ass and stuff like that. But one of the most hilarious and also definitely, you know, crude, you know, things you could do in Battletoads Arcade is they had an enemy named Vermin. Vermin, I believe, was in one of the earlier games. He was like relegated to like a boss. He actually was a boss, but he was relegated. But then he was like lowered down to Mook status in Battletoads Arcade. And in Battletoads Arcade, Vermin has a particular attack you can do to him that I have taken advantage of quite a bit when I played this game, because it can immediately stop him from being able to hit you. Where, you know, the toad, the toad you're playing as, you know, grabs like a full handful of his package and just proceeds to just pummel him between the legs with it. I mean, the General Vermin figure that they have even actually has like an in pain expression, so you can actually recreate that scene if you wanted to. So just picture that big fist that I actually was just showing that, you know, Zitz had, and putting the in pain face like head mold on the Vermin figure, and having like, you know, Zitz like, yeah, you could recreate that scene in spades. Well, they have like a figure for him. I think it's about like, I want to say I think it's like $90, but that's not the figure I got. This isn't General Vermin we got, right? Or, well, actually, I don't think it's actually... I don't even know if his name is actually General Vermin, considering who this guy is. So, we're going to go ahead and get to the big one here. I'm going to have to step back a little bit, guys, because I'm going to need some room for this one. Because you see the box right here? This is how big the box actually is. Okay, so just get this out. And you know, I thought that the box actually wasn't gonna match the size of the figure. Like the box was actually gonna be bigger than the figure. The box of the figure. This is hands down probably gonna be the biggest action figure I've ever collected in my life, even compared to the Megazords I used to get back in the 90s. I didn't know this thing was gonna be this freaking big. Oh wow. Okay. Let's get this. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, that packaging. Uh-oh. I think. Okay, let's try that again, guys. I think I actually was supposed to like do this from the side. Yeah, that's the way this figure was designed. It's designed to be slid out. All right, guys. Brace. Bear with me on this. I'm trying to work with this. I told y'all I'm not a professional collector, so there's gonna be outtakes on this, and this is definitely one. I gotta get this slid back down. There we go. I thought like I was actually pulling the whole box out, but I wasn't. It was actually just like the little slide thing. And there goes my one of my PlayStation 5 games. All right, let's try this again. Do this sideways. All right. All right, there. All right, we're getting all of it this time. Just kind of slide that with my feet. There we go. So what I'm seeing right here that I like is they have like a completely different insignia for the for this figure because it's part of the Dark Queen's army. So it actually has like this little biohazard thing. I can't recall if that actually. I believe that's actually part of the Dark Queen's army. I think it is. I think I've seen like some of like her minions like have this insignia. But yeah, side right here, as you can see, this is Premium DNA's General Slaughter figure. And this thing is massive. I knew that it was going to be like 18 inches, but God knows this box is humongous. I don't like, unfortunately, that the box has a bit of a tear right there, because, for collecting purposes, but that's kind of frustrating. The box has like a little bit of a tear in it, but hopefully as long as the figure itself is intact, I'll let this one slide. It's just, it's kind of frustrating, when, because admittedly on this, the figure itself was $134 or somewhere along. It was like, so it was a pretty pricey figure. But, I paid like $40 in shipping for this, and the box itself's got a tear in it. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but whatever the case, I'll get in touch with them about it, see if there's something that can be done. I mean, because it did technically arrive damaged. I mean, the figure itself, as long as that's okay, but I'm gonna let them know I'm not really too happy about this. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not gonna like go full Karen on them and say like, I paid like all this money for this figure and it's broken. And the figure, should be fine. I just, as a collector, kind of bummed about the box. Alright. Let's get this big bad boy out of here. Now I'll probably slide this thing off. Alright. And again, I'm not, this I don't agree with though. They said true game scale. So here's the problem I have with them saying true game scale on this. Now I like how they had the big bold letters that says emboss on this. General Slaughter is 10 feet tall in the game. I like this figure, is absolutely huge, but the thing about it is they say it's true game scale. If you want to get technical about it, sorry, I just burped right there, guys. I really do apologize for that. Just came out. The way they kind of got this matched up right here, that's inaccurate. Compared to when you see like the figure, because I'm looking right at this guy's mug right now, and trust me, he's bigger than he's showing right here. Especially if you look at the box. In game, like I said, Battletoads Arcade, they confirmed General Slaughter's height as like 10 feet. So he's only like 3 feet above Pimple's size. So if you really look at like the Toads, like like right here, maybe it's more accurate, definitely. But maybe I'm getting like too far into it, of course, but I just kind of find it funny they're saying it's true game size when if it was true, he actually would be like a lot smaller than this figure's showing, because he would only be about like maybe like 3 feet, maybe like 2.5 feet above Pimple, because then Pimple's like 7 feet tall, so about a bit over 7 feet tall, and so he's like a bit like a couple feet taller than like Rash and Zitz. So yeah, this is the figure. So yeah, they definitely made General Slaughter massive here. And the thing about it is, like I said, when you look at Robo Mantis, they really want to try like make like these figures like accurate in regards to like, you know, scale in some kind of scale compared to the Toads. If they did a Robo Manus figure, they'd either have like, because Robo Manus does scale bigger in Battletoads Arcade. I'm trying to hold this thing up right here, but I gotta like lean on the table, so it still is a little bit heavy. Manus is like about 78 feet in Battletoads Arcade, and Big Blag, that's someone they can work a little bit more with that they did figure him, because again his size varies. He does get pretty big in Battletoads Arcade. I keep on forgetting the name of it for some reason, even though I've been said it most 9,000 times during this stream. But Manus didn't really have like as big of a sprite compared to Blag in Battletoads Arcade, because they never showed the entirety of Manus on screen. Blag, however, had like this big massive sprite. You know, originally he was like about the same size as the Toads, and then when like, you know, you after he took like enough damage between phases, he'd get massive. So Blag had like the biggest sprite out of like any enemy in the game, even compared to the Carnath he fought in like stage 2 for the boss. But so they really want to try to do these things like accurately, even like try and make like, you know, Blag, you know, a little bit bigger, or not, well, not Blag. Though Blag would be bigger than Slaughter anyway. For Manus, he'd have to be massive compared to this if they want to go by Battletoads Arcade. So if they were going to do a Manus figure, which I really hope they do, they'd have to like probably like make him like, you know, match more of a scaling for like one of the earlier games like Battletoads Double Dragon or whatever. Because Manus, he's well known for the fact that compared to the other bosses, he changes his appearance drastically through each game. The other bosses like Slaughter and Blag kind of keep how they look for the most part with some differentiation. Manus, however, goes through massive changes in each Battletoads game. So anyways, all that aside, guys, we're going to go and try to get him out of here. And hope I can actually get him back in the box, no problem. Because this is going to be a bit more complex because, you know, he's such a big boy. This guy's chonky. But again, you can even, like for those who watch me play Battletoads Arcade, you know what I'm talking about with Slaughter. Because you fought him in stage 1. And I don't care what anyone says. Even though his fight was the easiest, it was my favorite just because of how funny it was or how cool it was. And the fact that the way he comes on screen, they kind of like, you know, show this thing like Slaughter's trying to say that he's him. He comes on screen, you know, he just like, you know, just glares the Toads down. You can just tell that Slaughter cannot stand the Battletoads. He absolutely hates them. So he comes on screen, you know, he does that glare, you know, when he first shows up. Like, you know, he sets that setting and everything. Like the rest of the bosses, like, just instantly come on screen. Slaughter has that build up to him. And, you know, I've always just loved that fight because even though it's really easy, you know, and I love the whole concept of how you can just, like, you know, knock Slaughter down and kick his ass, like, right back off the screen. Each time he gets back up and, like, jumps back on the ship, each time, like, you know, with his, like, you know, more facial damage, which is one of the things I like about this figure I'm about to show you guys. So, kind of like, you know, use my little table right here to, well, keep the box right here. See if I can get him out. I think I got this, yeah. Woo! I mean, straight up, I mean, like I said, guys, this is a heavy figure. Alright, do that like that there. There's a reason I wish I actually would have like a dedicated table to put all this on. So I'm just having to use my floor here. That's all good. It shouldn't be too difficult to get back in the box. Just gotta, like, you know, work with it some. They definitely put, like, a lot more tape on here, though. I mean, I kind of respect that. They kind of needed to. Because, I mean, for sure, this thing could have easily probably, like, you know, maybe came loose if they didn't put all this tape. Even though it was, like, you know, right there. There we go. Kind of like do this like this. There we go. Should be able to kind of like... They put it on all four sides. Yeah, they did. They doubled up on the tape. Again, it's understandable because how big of a figure this is. So yeah, they put like I think about like probably like yeah they put like quite a few strips of tape there. There's another one right there. I will say, time to get these figures to me aside, they definitely know how to package their figures. They make, I mean, aside from like, you know, that would get a little bit damaged. I don't know if that happened in transit or what. I don't think that actually happened in transit because I don't know, because the thing about it is, the box is intact, the cardboard box that came was intact, so I don't know how like it actually could have got like, you know, broken like that without like the cardboard box like, you know, getting damaged as well. Or like the shipping box. Okay, now I can definitely say, I can already tell you guys that, I mean, he's got like less accessories, but this figure definitely I think was worth the price. Just because, again, once I get him, god dang, this thing's heavy. Alright, there we go. Just look at the detail on this thing. This thing is like amazing. So yeah, I mean, definitely worth. And again, this thing's got some heft to it. This feels like it's probably about like maybe. I mean, 15 pounds shouldn't be like a lot for someone who goes to the gym. This thing definitely looks like, it feels like it's definitely got like a lot of heft on it. So this is hands down probably like the biggest action figure I've ever had, even compared to my Megazords I used to get like back in the 90s. You know, I'm a Power Rangers fan. So yeah, he's definitely got like a lot of articulation on him. Definitely gonna be good for like trying to do some figure photography eventually. Even like his hooves right here are like, you know, posable. His head goes like all different, like swivels in all different directions. I mean, even like, yeah, he's got like a lot of like articulation to him. He's got like multiple ones on his arms. And they also, speaking of which, he does have like different hands. So definitely wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility to like have him like, you know, pick up one of the toads by their arms or whatever. And also I like the fact that he's got like, you know, of course, bigger ball joints or whatever. So it's gonna be like really easy. It would be really easy to switch out these hands. But the highlight of this, let me go and put these back in here, is the extra heads that came with Slaughter. So he's got 2 extra heads. And I know exactly what the whole point is behind both of them. So, so this head right here, this is like basically designed to match the intro screen for him. Like when you first start the game, when you first start Battletoads Arcade, Zitz does the communicator thing, and he has like the transmission from General Slaughter. This is the way he looks there, where for some reason, like, you know, his horns are much smaller, like, you know, because he's supposed to be a bull. His horns are much smaller, as you can see. Like, they're much less pronounced compared to the, you know, this one right here. You look at the comparison. You know, his horns right here, like, stand out a lot more. Because, again, his whole thing is, like, his headbutting. Like this, you know, he's got, like, how are you going to, like, you know, headbutt anything with these horns? Like, you know, you're going to, like, do more damage with a mohawk than anything. But his horns are, like, you know, are more, like, you know, are much less pronounced. Like, they're off to the sides and everything. But right here, you know, they're sticking straight up. And also, you know, the whole salivating thing. You know, this is all from, like, you know, his intro when he first comes in the game. And this one, of course, is the highlight of the extra heads, which is, anyone who's seen me play the game knows exactly what this is. So, again, each time that, you know, when you do damage to General Slaughter in the fight with him, the damage shows. You know, more specifically, especially, you know, when you kick him off the stage and he comes back on with this little, you know, thing where, like, try to do a little reenactment of, like, if I can here. Don't know if I can. Turn his head around. It's literally like, you know, when he comes on, it's basically like, you know, he does like, yeah, kind of like not dead on, but that's the whole thing. When he pops on or whatever, you know, like, you know, the one thing I love about the fight is that when he first comes in, his head just kind of comes up like this, and he jumps onto the stage. So, each time you kick, you know, Slaughter, you know, again, it's like one of the most unique boss mechanics I've seen. You know, it's one of the most disrespectful ones as well. Kind of like just personifies the Toads to a T. Their whole thing is they love kicking enemies off screen. You know, in each of the games, like, you can usually do this to something. Or a lot of times it revolves around kicking something in the ass. Battletoads Arcade is especially so because there's so many enemies that, you know, Toads will just kick the crap out of, like, knocking them off the screen, especially like the fat pigs. Those would be interesting to actually have those as, like, some action figures as well. Having, like, the big pig enemies. I definitely probably get one of those. Just to reenact, like, the whole booting them in the ass thing. Like, if they actually made the figures and they actually had, like, you know, the ass print on them, or you could actually have, like, you could swap out their butt and have one that has, like, you know, the Toad's boot print on it. That would be pretty cool. But the whole point behind this is you never really see, like, a boss that, you know, too much of it. You kick his ass out of the boss arena. Like, he shows up into the area that's designated as his boss area. And you've got a character that kicks his ass out of it. You know, that's just pure disrespect, and that's just menace level Air Force, like Black Air Force, you know, territory right there. And that's what the Toads do in the boss fight with him. You guys will see that when I play the arcade version in a little bit. They basically kick him off screen. And each time he pops back up, he's got more damage to him where he's missing teeth, his horns are broken, you know, he's got blood, you know, dripping out off him or whatever. Until, like, the final hit where, like, you know, you kick him off the entire stage and he goes offline, off somewhere in the galaxy. And that could be seen as, like, maybe a concept of why he wasn't in Battletoads 2020. Maybe he actually straight up died. Maybe, like, you know, when they go, because the Toads literally kick him into outer space. And I feel like the Dark Queen will be like, okay, you failed me, you know, you're expendable. You know, you failed me for the last time. So it could be that maybe he just was straight up dead. Because that's like, because he seemed like he's someone that had like a more finite finish to him compared to like Robo Manus, who is described in the game as cyborg biogen, cybernetic biogen. So obviously, you know, Robo Manus could just be repaired, and Blag, he's never really been kicked off into space, so they could easily come back. But Slaughter kind of seemed like they were trying to make his end in Battletoads Arcade a bit, finite. Like he actually was dead. But whatever the case, yeah, great, just awesome figure. This thankfully it didn't get messed up in the delivery, but I am gonna get in touch with Premium DNA and let them know that as a collector, I hate that the box got messed up. I know that these are probably designed for displaying. Problem with Slaughter is that if I do want to take him out of the box, I'm gonna have to find somewhere to put him. Even in the box, I'm gonna have to find somewhere to put him. But because this is a massive figure. This is an 18-inch figure, and he's actually towers over some of the Megazords I got back in the day, even when they were fully assembled. But I feel like he was definitely worth the $130, and I guess worth the $40 in shipping. But yeah, the attention to detail on these figures is phenomenal. And I definitely do want to buy from Premium DNA more in the future. I just wish they could do more with their delivery times and their customer service. Because when I got back in touch with them about the Rash figure, when I was asking them where that was originally when I first got it, they got back with me within probably a day or two. But then with the other two figures here, it took forever to get an answer from them. So it took I think a couple weeks, give or take, to actually get a reply from them. So I just wish they could do more about their customer service and everything. I can understand if they're a small company, but I have seen mixed review things about them where some people have said that something about scams and everything. I still want to take a chance on them, because I want the figures, and they at least got the figures to me. That's the thing about it. I didn't get ripped off. The figures were delivered. It's just that, again, I feel for $40 in shipping, even though again this is a big figure, I feel for $40 in shipping, it would have been nice to actually somehow have the maybe have the figures delivered quicker. And also, it would have been nice to actually get the figure delivered in a box that wasn't, obviously noticeably damaged. That, it happened, before the figure was even shipped. It could have been just, sitting in a warehouse and just, it looks like they basically picked the box up to deliver it. Or, put it, maybe deliver it, put it on a shelf, and they caught it on a corner or something. I just don't like the fact that I, paid all that for shipping to get a damaged box. Yeah, what matters the most is the figure itself isn't damaged. It's not broken or anything. It's completely intact. I just for display purposes, even though you guys probably barely noticed that little rip, but it was there. Just kind of show you one more time. Let me put Slaughter back in the box, or back right there in the packaging, but you can kind of see maybe just right there. Yeah, it's got that little, did it even break all the way through? Because it's got the two little layers in here. Yeah, it did definitely go through. But, again, it's not it's not the most noticeable, but still, I'm not going to be one of those hardcore collectors oh, there's this very little unnoticeable thing. I mean, I've got plenty of pop figures. Some of my pop figures do have little slight tears in them. But I still definitely say, I mean, I'm not planning on never selling my pop figures, but some of them do have very small little bins and whatnot in them. And I haven't really complained too much about it. That's one of the risks that comes from also getting them from Amazon. Even times I got them in stores, I got, figures knowing that they had a little break in them, but I got them anyway. So it's not a huge deal, but I do kind of want to let them know, hey, I waited forever for this figure. The box was kind of damaged, The main thing I think about is what if it's something like that, it makes you wonder, kind of can make someone wonder, if when they ship stuff or whatever, what if they actually ship something that's actually more damaged than that? I mean, thankfully, the figures came in completely intact. All, the packaging. I mean, the figures themselves weren't broken or anything at all. I just, wish that more could have been done. But yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to really. I mean, definitely these three I got. My favorite, of course, is the Rash figure because that's my favorite Battletoad. He's my favorite Battletoads character. But that General Slaughter figure is absolutely amazing. Definitely was worth the money I paid for it. I'm just hoping it for other in-boss figures, because I know we're supposed to be getting Dark Queen. I know that's going to probably be a bit of a tall figure herself, because I think in the game universe, the Dark Queen is about 7 foot something, so she actually, I think, is about the same height as Pimple, if not a little bit taller. It would be cool to actually, they actually made her size accurate, so she, of course, does tower over the Toads, because that's usually how she is, when you do fight the Dark Queen in the games, she is taller than the Toads anyway, but the way they kind of depict her, she looks like she might actually be about 13 feet tall, because, she's... At times, she's actually a little bit taller than General Slaughter sometimes in comparison to the Toads. But I really, the main villain I would like to see them do a figure for would be Robo-Manus, because he's my second favorite villain after, I don't know. Dark Queen's definitely up there. I know some people might say blasphemy in the fact I'm saying I prefer General Slaughter over, the Dark Queen. But the thing about it is, let's keep in mind, she usually is the one that's always the end boss, like letting everyone else do the work for her. And yeah, she's no slouch. She's got magic and everything. But her minions are out there doing the work for her. And even though Slaughter is kind of like a more of a basic enemy, it's like, okay, I'm dumb. I ram into things. Still, the main thing about it with him was just the fight with him in Battletoads Arcade was awesome. While, like, the most you see of Dark Queen in the game is they do a splash screen thing where they're trying to imply you're going to fight her, but then you go in and you fight, I think it was Scud or Scuzz. I can't remember the rat's name, but you're fighting him like in a robot rat. While she's just in the background, with, just kind of like in a hologram. Her minions were out there doing all the work, and they do this fake out thing. You're going to get in a fighter. No, you're not. Let's get Slaughter back in the packaging. We're going to get on to the gameplay portion of this stream. Let's see here. See if I can get him back in there. Because now I got the tape off. This little trick. Actually, it might not be that bad. No. I got him. Just kind of like ease him on in. There you go, big guy. And that was a very slight rip on the packaging while I was putting him back in there, but it's no big deal. I mean, the packaging was already a little bit messed up. As long as it still closes properly, it's fine. Plus, the Rash, I got like a slight rip on that one as well, but I don't know if that happened like when it was delivered or afterwards. All right. So, of course, the main question still is where the heck am I gonna put this thing when it's time to display him? But we'll figure it out. Probably just gonna like put him in the background, have like a Rash and Zitz like their box on top of his. I don't know. Right now I'm just trying to like get the lid closed down. Give me a little bit of trouble here. Shouldn't be because I put him all the way back down in there. I don't know why it's doing this. I think I know what it is. There we go. I think I got it. It's in right here. There we go. Okay. Let's close this back up. That's that. Oh yeah, and also show you guys the back of it as well. I forgot about that. Yeah, so of course it shows like Slaughter. It doesn't show his hands, but it shows all three heads. Like the normal head, the damaged one, and also like the introduction screen head. Like I said, now, so the only thing I'm hoping for now is that we do get Wave 2, and it doesn't take forever for them to actually come out with it or announce it properly. I can't remember where I heard that they said that where it was confirmed that Wave 2 was coming. I'm gonna look it up a little bit more. But the worst thing about it is I think like where I read about the like I said like supposedly we're getting like Pimple and the Dark Queen in Wave 2 is because I read on a Reddit post. It was someone else that said apparently they were confirmed and but they I think they were just like claiming that Premium DNA, I think it said that like they were coming, but I don't know if it actually was properly confirmed or not. So, like, again, it was a whole thing of, like, just because you heard on the internet, it doesn't mean it's true. I'll have to look more into it and see if, like, Premium DNA has done, like, an official announcement of it. I also just noticed, yeah, Zitz's box is actually a little bit taller than Rash's. I just noticed that. I thought their boxes were actually similar size, so... Yeah, I think it's just mainly because, like, Zitz has the extra head in there, and also probably, like, the bulldozer thing, but I noticed that, like, their boxes actually aren't the same size. I thought like they actually had similar size boxes. So obviously Pimples is going to be bigger. Yes, go ahead and display these right there. All right. So anyways, guys, now that we got that out of the way, it's time to actually go ahead and get on into the next portion of this. I'm going to go and hook my controller up right here because I'm using... Now keep in mind what's about to happen here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys straight up. I'm not going to get too far in Battletoads NES. I've never beaten the game. If I actually had the time to kind of really put into it, like I did Super Ghouls and Ghosts back in the day, because I did beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which is also very notorious for being extremely hard. But the only reason I ever actually beat that is because I was like, when I first played it, I was I beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts when I was 7 years old. It's something I definitely take as a major accomplishment in my life because Super Ghouls and Ghosts is known for being like one of the most notoriously hard games out there. But that's because I played it almost nonstop for an entire summer. After I got my Super Nintendo at the end of I got my report cards from school at the time. I think I was I believe I was in 3rd grade. Can't remember, 2nd or 3rd grade. I got my words are hard report cards from school. Funny, like I'm messing up my words here, but wasn't messing up my spelling. And talking about like getting like straight A's in my report cards, and now I'm having a hard time talking right here. But yeah, I had got like straight A's, and you know on my report card back then, and I ended up getting like a Super Nintendo as a reward for it. And my aunt had took me up to a pawn shop to try to find, let's see if we can find some games for cheap. And they had Super Ghouls and Ghosts there. And I had Donkey Kong Country that came with this Super Nintendo, but I spent like an entire summer playing Super Ghouls and Ghosts because I was so addicted to that game, and I actually ended up eventually beating it. And for those who don't know, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, the way this game works is that it's already difficult, but you have to go through the game twice to actually get like the actual proper completion of it. And I managed to do it, but I know I can never do it again because that took like a lot of like trial and error, learning that game as a kid, playing it non-stop. So if I ever actually was to beat it again, it probably have to like take me using cheats this time. But with Battletoads, I've never beat that. If it was like a situation kind of like how it was when I was a kid, when I was just sitting down playing Super Ghouls and Ghosts non-stop, if I did the same thing, if I had all that, maybe I could have like beat Battletoads the same way back then. But I know I could probably like actually never beat it currently unless I spent like a crap load of time actually really trying to learn it. Because Battletoads is a lot of times it's considered even like more difficult than Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I mean, you look at like top 10 like hardest games of all time, look up like a list online. More than likely on any list you see, you're gonna see both Super Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins, and you're definitely gonna see Battletoads on there. So the only Battletoads game I've ever completed is Battletoads Arcade. And the only ones I've ever actually really played extensively have been, I played like Battletoads NES, my fair share. But I think I probably like spent more times on Battletoads Double Dragon, the Ultimate Team, and then Battletoads Battle Maniacs or Battletoads NES. So let's go ahead and actually, at the very least, I'm gonna see if I can get to the Turbo Tunnel. Which, for those who don't know, Turbo Tunnel, whenever you think about Battletoads, or you ask someone like what the hardest level in Battletoads is, or most notorious level, they're probably gonna say the Turbo Tunnel. It was even brought back in Battletoads 2020, though I don't think it was actually considered as difficult because you could just retry as much as you wanted. The Turbo Tunnel was the game-breaking experience for like a lot of people, like for the Battletoads NES. So we're gonna at least see if I can maybe get to it. It's a third stage. We'll see what happens because the way Battletoads is designed, the NES version, is that you only get like 3 continues like that actually take you throughout the entire game. Some of these enemies can be like complete ass and that they can like wipe your health just like that. They had stage traps, wipe your health just like that. So yeah, it's really easy to die in this game. You have to be like really good at it. So yeah, Battletoads Arcade, I definitely be able to play to that. But if I can at least get to the Turbo Tunnel, I'll be happy. But anyways, I'm going to switch over to my other input and go and get started on this. So yeah, you guys have seen like my experience with Battletoads Arcade. That's definitely my favorite one. I tell anyone I think that's actually the best Battletoads experience you're going to get. There's also like a lot of lists out there where they list Battletoads Arcade as the definitive experience because it's the most polished. The Toads are the most fleshed out in that one. And I think it's like the best rendition of them and their enemies. I just wish that they would have done more with, like I said, I wish that Angelica, they would have like actually used her what they were going to use her for. And also they would have had like stuck true to what they originally were going to do with the concept of stage 2, which is that the whole battle with Oink was going to be in there, and the whole plot of that, the reason why you're in a North Pole level is that you actually were supposed to be saving Santa Claus, and Oink was pretty much dressed up as him, and he had this whole thing where like he would throw bombs at you from his Christmas sack and also get stuff you in the bag. And they actually have like the entire, again, like I can't remember if I actually said this at the beginning of the stream or not, but you actually could fight Oink if you with cheats. You can actually fight him. He's actually in the game. They have like actual animations for him, I believe, but he's not actually officially in it. Instead, they switched him out for Karnath. I think it was supposed to be the boss of stage 4. So if I'm correct, I think that actually kind of shows some cut content there. I think stage 4 is the one where you're going down, like in the going down to the hole, like the rocket pack, and it does kind of make sense because when you fight Karnath, it's in this little pit. It kind of seems like it actually led down there, so it actually kind of seemed like it went well with stage 4. So yeah, I kind of wish they would went with what they originally did. What the original plan was that they were gonna have Oink, you fight him on stage 2, and then you fight the Karnath on stage 4. Everything would have went would have been better with that. And I really do wish they actually would have stuck true to keeping like Angelica in the game as well as like Professor T-Bird. Well, I think it would have made the game like a lot more complete. But yeah, also you guys are gonna be introduced to like one of the best like stage openers, like our game openers like right here as well. Like every time I hear that, it just, yeah, it kind of gives me goosebumps. I've always loved their intro. But anyways, and this is Professor T-Bird. He wasn't in Battletoads Arcade, but get ready to, I was reading that, but okay. Yeah, that was Professor T-Bird, who again, if they actually made a figure of him, I definitely would buy it. Because he's like the Splinter of the Toads, but he wasn't in Battletoads Arcade, but he's been in just about every other game in the series. Right. But yeah, you can see like it's very much different game compared to like, you know, Battletoads Arcade. Again, this is like the very first one. Still, you know, and the Psycho Pigs here are like, you know, the, like some of the other ones that, see, that's what I said about like how it's easy to actually get your ass kicked in this game if you don't watch it. But yeah, the Psycho Pigs, they're like, you know, some of the other ones that have like, you know, little toys. I actually would like to get like at least one of them. Like, they're like $40, and you know, Premium DNA said they're perfect for army building, which is great, just not really the price. Okay, I just took a lot, like took a hit there. Give him one right back. They're gonna held out a little longer, kind of like having some flies. See, these things are just pure ass right here. I definitely want to try to take them out before they can do anything, because these like will kill you in one hit and they pick you up. Absolutely hate those things. Trying to like, I'm just trying to like, you know, beat them to the punch, because they grab you. That's it. Challenge accepted. Don't know if I actually. Oh no, you don't. Oh yes, he does. But he never does again. I always miss that one up. Okay. See if I can take this thing down without getting killed. Which is very easy. You just gotta like, it's kind of like the Shredder and like the fight with Shredder and TMNT Turtles in Time. And done. It's bad when like the enemies you're fighting in the stage themselves are tougher than the boss. And this is the Dark Queen, of course. You know, you see her mostly just like in the splash screen and the hologram in arcade. Alright, now this area right here is going to be a little tricky. See, the thing about it also is that you can kind of like juggle the enemies, you can get points, which can hopefully possibly help you get like a level up. But it's tricky to juggle them. But I just try like to smack them as quick as I can before they can do any damage. Alright, just get like a random sword. I still to this day don't know if it actually is like, I mean, I guess it's like it's you using the bird's beak. Because when they fall, you see they don't have a beak on them. Again, like I said, it's tricky to juggle these enemies. And these things right here are just pure ass as well, so you have to kind of like watch them, just try to take them out as quick as you can. That electric attack can do like a lot of damage, you don't watch it. Because they'll start trying to chain that if you don't watch it. See, that's, like I said, that's what I hate. Trying to at least see if I can get my, score up enough to get, like, score me an extra life. Okay, yeah, okay. Just gotta watch this. I may not reach the turbo tunnel on this one. I might have to start this over. And I'm gonna have like 3 continues if I'm correct. I just gotta watch these things right here too. That was cheap as hell right there. Yeah, they just... See what I meant about this game being cheap? So now I gotta start the whole stage over again. But yeah, this game is notoriously difficult. And some of the deaths can definitely be like really cheap. Still, you know, I enjoy playing it. Like, I went into this knowing what to expect, so. I have, and the times I've reached the turbo tunnel have been like very few in the times I've played this. That's when I was saying I may get to it today. I just want to kind of like get to show you guys like what to expect from it. If y'all ever try to play this, if you haven't played it yet. That's one that I would think would be pretty cool also if they did like, you know, do like a figure maybe of like the speeder bike. They're doing a little bit better this time. Won't speak too soon. I was trying to like watch those electric attacks, because that's what does like a lot of damage. Watch these things right here. Try to get around to the side zone where they can't hurt me. Take his ass out real quick. Try to see if I can kick his ass again, but... Yeah, this thing right here is going to be trouble. I definitely gotta watch this one. I got it. Now it's gonna come back up. That got it. Take this thing out. There we go. I decided to go and take that hit. Yeah, I'm trying to reach that turbo tunnel. Hopefully we're there. There we go. Now comes the most notoriously, like, one of the most game-breaking parts of this game. Yeah, so anyone didn't get past this. You know, I know that this isn't like, this is like, there's other, like, levels that are definitely, like, very tough. Me, personally, I never actually gotten past this. Get to it first. Yeah, I forgot those little space invader things here. Forgot all about those little jerks. Get the wrong one. There we go. I just hate how sometimes the flies are so difficult to get. One, two. All right, got a life back at least. Trust me, it ain't gonna really matter much here. Here we go. All right. I'm going to say I ain't gonna get past this. If I do, I'm gonna be very freaking surprised. This area is known for just how difficult it is. You have to be pixel perfect with this too. See? And if you hit just one thing, you gotta start all the way over, I think. I'm gonna say, I'm not getting past the turbo tunnel. I mean, I know I'm not. See? No, I ain't got this, trust me. I'm gonna go ahead and say straight up, I ain't got this. I mean, I'm probably like gonna use my other continues just to try. But, like, you have to be pixel perfect with this. There's a reason why this is, like, considered, like, one of the most... Basically, this is, like, the first major roadblock you face in this game. Okay, we got a checkpoint at least. That's actually the first I've ever gotten this damn thing. Not gonna matter! See? Like, you have to be pixel perfect with your jumps. So if I ever actually do try to, like, actually do a serious playthrough of this, it might actually probably have to be like with me using like some kind of like, you know, infinite life cheat if I got one, if I can find one. I like how they try to give you, like, flies on something that's gonna, like, you know, that's coming out that's basically gonna kill you in one hit anyway. And see, that's just cheap as hell right there, too. Well, here we go again. Now, one thing I actually just learned is that I can go all the way to, like, both sides here where I'm not have to worry about, like, falling off. So that's probably one thing I was screwing up on before. But still, you know, the fact is, you know... Like, they did the Turbo Tunnel and Shovel Knight as well, but... And they also have like a version of it in Battletoads Double Dragon, but it's not nearly as difficult. Well, I've gotten further than I ever had before in this. That fucking jump right there. And the trick with these guys, you gotta watch their shadow. Fuck. It would be cool if I can get past it, but I know I'm not going to. This is my last attempt at it. At least for this play, at least for this continue. See, it's that part right there. You have to like jump. You have to be immaculate with just jumping right there, and I keep forgetting to. We're gonna try this last time. I think this is my last continue. That's the thing, but this game is absolutely fun. I still say like our Battletoads Arcade is still my favorite. This is probably like my second favorite in the series. You know, it's like definitely like the least polished. I mean, this was the original one. All right. Just wait for him to come up here at level with me this time. But again, yeah, this is like, when people think, like, you know, Battletoads, they think Turbo Tunnel. This is even actually one of, like, you know, part of, like, you know, one of Rash's attacks, like, in Killer Instinct, where he could, like, you know, bring in a speeder bike to attack his opponent with. Yeah, see, like the pixels definitely were catching up with me right there. Because like when you're watching like all this speed, everything speeding by so much, it gets tricky to kind of like, you know, kind of starts messing with your eyes. Yeah, see, it's because it's messing with my eyes now because I've already done this so many times. I keep saying one day I will get past this. And I've getting bit, you know, I've kind of like, you know, done better than I thought I was going to this time. I think I've gotten further than I ever had before on this. Just got no checkpoint. And my hands are sweaty too. Okay, we're back up to where we were before, for the most part. Like, one of the tricks too is not watching the toad, of course. So we got an extra life at least. Like, definitely like trying to like, you know, make sure you kind of like watch ahead of you instead of everything else. Woo, that was close. Also, we try to do commentary while doing this, it makes it a little bit trickier. I almost missed that. Okay, we're kind of like back at where we were before. Just watch these little dorks right here. So one's gonna speed up right there trying to tap me. See, it's right there that gets me. I got past the... Alright, so I'm gonna be very immaculate with my jumps there. That's gonna be the hardest part. I'm hoping that maybe that might be the end of it, but I don't know. The way that one right there is designed is that they have like the two blocks you're supposed to like not jump over. Then that one that comes along, they basically try to like cheese you. Alright. Oh yeah, now I remember now. They throw these at you without any warning. Yeah, this is where it definitely ramps up. Yeah, see, it's that right there. But you know, it is what it is. You know, I got further than I ever had before in the turbo tunnel, I'll take it. Just that part right there was bullshit because they throw them at you without any warning. So basically what it means is that, you know, the only way you're probably gonna be able to get past that, especially if it gets harder, you're gonna have to, like, you know, have like some serious memorization going on there. But it's that one right there that, you know, kept catching me. But again, you know, you have to be pixel perfect with it. This is the reason why this area is like known as a game breaker for this, like basically a run breaker. But another thing to keep in mind also I didn't really talk about is that when you're playing 2-player mode with this, it gets worse. Because if one person dies, both people have to start back over and you share your lives and everything. So basically, I think, like, if I remember correctly, if you're in 2-player mode with Battletoads, one person dies, both have to start stage over, and they share, I believe they share continues as well as lives. So, yeah. Think about how that would have been if it would have been me and someone else playing. You could be doing perfectly, but if the other person isn't, like, at the top of their game also and getting through it, you know, it screws both of you up. So now we're going to go ahead and play the Battletoads that I'm definitely used to. We're going to do a full run of that. I'll go ahead and, like, get my continues up. Yeah, like I said, it's further than I've ever been in that thing.
Stomping time.
But the main thing is also, is like, that was only, like, you know, the 3rd stage. I think there's about, like, I think there's about 10 stages to the game, if I'm correct. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to be doing this differently. We're going to be playing as all 3 Toads this time. So I'm going to start off with Rash, of course, and when I lose, I'm going to switch to Zitz and Pimple, at least for a little while, so you guys see what I was talking about with, like, their different movesets. We're starting with my boy first. And this is, of course, what I was talking about with, like, with General Slaughter's, like, you know, his intro screen face, where he had, like, his horns were down, he was salivating. Okay, let's do this. Of course, now, like, you guys watching this, you're seeing, like, we're all, like, you know, those extra legs and arms from, like, the figures came from. Again, this is the Toads that I'm used to playing. You just kind of like see how they're a lot more fleshed out and everything here. This to me is like the pinnacle of like the Battletoads games. It's like to me the best one there is. Fans off my screen. Okay. Cute. You brought that on yourself. Alright, who's next? Oh wait, no, we know who's next. This never gets old. Again, for some reason, this is my favorite boss in the game. But also, you kind of see what I was talking about, like with the figures earlier. The fact that there's like, you know, the size difference between Rash and Slaughter isn't really that big compared to like the figures. I think it's maybe where I finish him off. And done. I'm gonna kick his ass over the moon so many times I know when it's gonna happen. Well, like I said, he's very easy to beat compared to the other bosses, but I just love fighting General Slaughter. For some reason, outside of Robo Manus, this is my favorite fight in the game.
Mission complete.
So again, originally, in this stage, it was supposed to be Oink in the Sand outfit you're supposed to fight, but I changed it to Karnath for whatever reason. And Karnath was like, they had like a stage in the original Battletoads. I've never gotten to it, of course, but I think it was actually, you're supposed to be actually climbing like a whole bunch of them. They're like stages made of, you know, the snakes or whatever. Don't quote me on that, back off. But, anyways, yeah. Originally, Karnath was supposed to be like the boss of stage 4 in this, but they put him in stage, I guess it's because they just like cut Oink out. And they put like, you know, Karnath there and then left like, you know, no boss for stage 4, so they just kind of mixed stage 4 and 5 together. Alright. Alright, get back. I think like we got another reindeer that's about to charge at me right here. No, another freaking snowman. He's gonna roll, flip over him, and done. Now this should be the reindeer. Called that one. And look. It's always hit and miss, and if I actually can knock his ass out before he hits me or not. Hey, alright, y'all wanna gang up on someone, huh? How's it going, boys? Yeah, and these guys had like other little sprites to them as well that was gonna be used. Like one that I think they unwrapped, like they had like a present they unwrapped, and one where they straight up try to punch you. Trying to keep them from swarming me. Alright, that takes care of them. Wait a minute. Alright. Yeah, that was on me. So they treat these guys like try to like match them when they're jumping and get like a little bit. Nope. I think I let you get on my screen that time. Okay, that was, I've never pulled that off before, but that was smooth. Hang on, just mute my audio. Alright, we're gonna switch over to Zitz now. I do like that they have like, you know, different voices for each one as well. Because this is kind of like a little bit, So when Zitz does his little thing, he just does this random little thing where he jumps out with both arms and both legs out compared to Rash doing a split. And as again, like, you know, Zitz has like more complex machinery behind his, and he's also not my best character, but as I said, I was gonna like play as each one. That's of course the bulldozer from like the action figure I showed you guys. Get right there in the center. And that was the big fist I was talking about. Like, and we already saw like the, and of course show you this one if yeah, never mind, he died first. Here it goes. Yeah, so his is a bit more gory than Rash's. But it does seem like he's actually more like, you know, he's better like for taking out the little... I don't think so. I think he's like... It does seem like Zitz is better for taking out the little, like, the little elves, though. But I just can't get over the fact that he turns his butt into a chainsaw. Oh, here we go, Carnath. And also he has his own little, you know, surprise animation. Rash, you know, just his mouth turns big. This goes straight up, you know, like the cartoons, like when you have like the, really seductive, you know, girl wearing the wolf, like goes like, you know, bonker-eyed. Or like his eyes just like jut out. You guys know what I'm talking about. I said, Zitz isn't as fast as Rash, so I may get bit by this thing. Just trying to, like, you know, think about where it's gonna probably, like, land and then, like, try to predict it. Sometimes this thing does catch me. I mean, I have, like, you know, beaten the Carnath without getting hit before. Just trying... Keep my eyes on where it's gonna go. Keep my eyes on where its neck goes. I want to at least start next stage with Pimple. Alright. Does kind of help that Zit's animation does seem like actually it's a little bit quicker than Rash's. I might actually be able to do this while I've been... Hang on. Got it. Without getting killed. Yeah, I just noticed that Zitz does seem like he's better for fighting, like, you know, the Carnath as well. Because his animation sounds like it was a little bit quicker, like, than Rash's. Like, when he does, like, the dash hit. But again, Zitz is also the all-arounder. And that, you know, he can, he's, like, in the middle ground between, like, you know, having, like, strength like Pimple. And, like, he has, like, a little bit less strength than Pimple, but he's also, he's, like, slower than Rash. But, and not as strong as Pimple. He's kind of, like, more of a little balance between them. Yeah, see, it says she's 6 foot. I thought she was like supposed to be 7 in some media. But again, like, you know, Zitz is more like the economical fighter out of them, and that, you know, he pretty much, I guess, is like just focuses more on efficiency. But again, like, you know, he's also the only Toad out of them that has, like, you know, smash hits that have like complex parts to them, like machine parts. It kind of goes with the whole fact he's the smartest. His run's kind of funny as hell too, though. I mean, Rash is funny because he has that whole little let me at him run. But I really would like to see them do like an actual proper Battletoads cartoon. Considering, like, you know how, like, again, the one we originally were gonna get, like, just was not good. But it would have been nice, actually, it would be nice to have, like, a proper Battletoads cartoon. Like, that fits, like, this whole style like this. I'd love that. Just, like, I'd like to see, like, a new game that fits this style. Because, like I said, the one from 2020 wasn't horrible, but, yeah. Okay, that was cheap. I'm bringing in Pimple. Yeah, and this is the one, like this one right here, probably my second favorite to play as. You know, he's like a lot slower. That's the hammer I was talking about when I was doing the unboxing of the other figures earlier. And also you can just see like how physically imposing Pimple is. Because in the games prior, I mean, like Battletoads Battle Maniacs, like for the Super Nintendo, was the first game that really differentiated the Toads. So you can only play as like Pimple and Rash. Because, you know, Zitz got kidnapped in that one. But this right here, you actually can really see like how physically intimidating Pimple is. Because he's the, you know, the... He's like 7 feet canonically. Trying to do the one thing. Come on. There it goes. He also has like another idle animation. I'm trying to see if I can get him to do it. It's actually that I really do like. Okay, you gotta finesse me, huh? And somehow that just seems like a lot more disrespectful. Yeah, there it goes. I just like how he does the whole come on thing. He has like a little hammer fist he does as his means of like, you know, hitting like, you know, them on both sides. Oops. Alright, wait for the ladder. No, you don't. Come here, you. Oh, really? Okay. Come on, get up. Wow. Yeah, but since I play as all three Toads now, you see what I was talking about, like they all have like their own different fighting styles and things. Like with Rash being the most nimble and like focusing a lot on his kicks. So he definitely has like a whole martial arts style to him. You know, while Zitz is the most like economical and like, you know, fighter in regards he's more balanced, and he has like he turns his parts into machines, and Pimple's just a freaking brute. I don't care. Rash is always gonna be my favorite, though. I mean, I love all three Toads. Rash is like, it's always been my favorite and always will be. I think that's like what a lot of people say, because again, like Rash is very popular compared to the others. Ow! Alright, back away. hate, like, I honestly hate this one. You can sometimes tell, like, how strong they are by their pallets, and this was, like, one of the toughest ones to deal with, the vermin types for these. Still a bitch, though. Give me that gun. Okay, so we're playing this way again, huh? Alright, get Zitz back in here. Like he's trying to hit me, and I'm just like, I'll just hit you right back. Alright, they're trying to like swarm me. Yeah, that ain't happening. Yeah, it's just tricky when. Alright, buddy. Let's say you push this one around. Sit down and shut up. Alright. Probably should have picked that up right there, because that might just... Pimples isn't as exaggerated, but still kind of funny. I don't know which one, like, the scared animations is my favorite. Because Zitz is funny or whatever, just because the eyes pop out, but Rash, I still just love how, like, his eyes, like, like the sunglasses come off his head and his eyes are like really beady underneath. I just noticed, it seemed like me, like, you know, Pimple's little, his invisibility frame actually kind of like matches this really, what, no, never mind, he got me right there. Damn, I'm trying to hit that thing towards him. But that's like another like trademark of the Toads, that they always have had like the whole, when a boss comes in, they've always had like the scared animation, which is always like really hilarious. I mean, even in Battletoads Double Dragon, they had like the Lee brothers, you know, Billy and Jimmy actually get in on it. Like where their eyes like popped out of their head when the boss came in. Which normally you never see like the, you know, that happen in the Double Dragon games. I've always hated fighting this boss though. You rat bastard. Right back to Rash. Have some head. This part right here isn't that hard to deal with. Just gotta try to get the timing, and instead my timing can be a bit off on it if I don't watch it. Alright, now this part here I absolutely hate. This whole Kribu's shoe thing. See, it's like you'll hit him and then he'll immediately retaliate. Got him. I believe that rat's name is Scuzz, but I can't remember. I don't know if it's Scud or Scuzz. I think it's Scuzz. I think is what I remember his name being. I might have to look it up.
Mission complete.
I guess there's nobody because I was switching between them. Alright. Yeah. I'll try to see if I can... Here we go. Hoping I can do this. It's gonna be cutting it close. I got him. And done. And of course, this is Blag. But like how they say right here, like his estimated height is 23, and his weight is like 3,000. So technically speaking, if they did a Blag figure, it'll probably be like canonically, they probably like make it like a little bit bigger than like the General Slaughter one. And we'll see what Premium DNA comes up with whenever they do Wave 2, whenever that is. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, like, you know, whatever they're gonna do for Wave 2 for the Battletoads figures, it's gonna definitely have to have, like, Pimple in it. I think they, like I said, that one Reddit post I saw, like, someone said, I can't remember if it was Premium DNA themselves, it said on Twitter. Then I'm not on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it anymore, with a lot of good reason. I have, like, seen, little posts here and there from Premium DNA pop up. Like, you know, when I've, like, searched stuff about the Battletoads figures, like, trying to find stuff on Wave 2, and I want to say, I think they might have actually said that Wave 2 has been confirmed. But I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was a Reddit post someone else did where they claimed that Premium DNA confirmed Wave 2 or not. But obviously, I feel like, you know, Pimple should be a given for Wave 2. I feel like he should have been in Wave 1, like with the other two Toads. Okay, at least that invincibility frame saved me from one of the hits right there. Oops. No, you don't. Probably can use that at a better time, but... Nope. Okay, that was definitely a bad time to use that. I missed like a whole bunch of my flies there. Still got my health almost back up to full. Alright, yeah, this part right here is bit of ass. Still not as bad as a turbo tunnel, but see, and I took the bait right there, knowing dang well that thing was bait. But yeah, in Battletoads 2020, they did bring the turbo tunnel back, and that's like probably the only time in the game. Okay. At least it gives me a chance to show Zitz and then show what he does. See, so his thing's a little bit different in regards to like his little thing he uses to send out. I like how he just puts all that flare in that bitch slap he gives. Okay, that's it. Seriously, like, Yujiro Hama would be, like, proud of that bitch slap, or that backhand. Actually, it was like it was a full-on slap, but... Oops. And see, he's got a little wind up on it too, so that definitely helps too. Alright, wait till I bring Pimple in. I want to do this anyway. See what his thing is. Oh yeah, I forgot he just turns to a straight rock. Okay, I've had enough of this. You guys are toast. So we're gonna, yeah, that's not gonna work anymore. I think this should be the end of the stage right here, if I remember correctly. But again, like, think like, you know, they said at the end of this, originally you're supposed to fight the Karnath down here, which definitely looks like it's more fitting. Like, you're going down to, like, looks like it actually might be like you're going inside, like, a... Because they never really think specify what the creature is you're going down inside of, but obviously there's like a spine in the background. Of how long it is, like that actually might be a snake you're going down into. One thing about Pimple is like just how slow he is, so he's a little bit trickier to like use. But all three Toads are fun to play as. And like I said, especially when compared to like the original games where like all of them like didn't really differentiate. They all like, you know, played exactly the same. They were just palette swaps, kind of like the Lee brothers. You know, in Double Dragon. Again, just one other thing that frustrates me is like when they get right behind you so they can jump you like when you're mid combo. They're about as bad as like the Pokemon Scarlet, like, you know, camping for you to finish a battle so they can jump you right afterwards. And anyone who's watched my streams that knows exactly what I'm talking about. No, you don't. Nope. Okay. Uh-uh. You're gonna go right back off the screen. You want guns so bad? Here. I'm gonna go put some ice on that. No, it's gonna help. Nope. Come on. See, I was doing good until it... Keep out of this. Okay, look, he fell on him. That was hilarious. Okay, that, yeah, alright, I thought I was actually out of, like, the line of danger right there, but... Alright, he's down. Wow, okay. Bad move, boys. That kick was very personal, just so y'all know. Let's get this thing out of the way so I can move a little better. Alright, that one right there is coming from over there, so I can get right here. Whoa, okay. A little mixed up right there. Looks like there's gonna be a center. No? I'm trying to watch what. Yeah, one's in the center like that. Maybe if I'm not playing as Pimple, I'd have like less room to move. I don't know if that would actually count that or not, but. Normally I do this with Rash, so I feel like I'm kind of like having to compensate a little bit because I'm playing Zips, which is a little bit bigger. I wouldn't be laughing. One for you. Hang on. Oh, I thought. Like that. And one for you. And see, there's Oink right there. Again, like he was never used in this, but he was supposed to be in the snow level. I like how they at least like still paid homage to him, even though like when I first played this, I didn't know about like the lore behind him. I was like, who the hell is that? And found out he was actually an unused boss. It's the middle one. Whoa. Might be able to do this without like taking any hits. Yeah. I've gotten like much better about dodging the boulders than the balls that I used to be. Laugh now. That's cute. Now you're just by yourself, dude. Let's see what you do now. Come on. What the fu- Okay. It just gets me how they put... Wait, I did bring one in. Okay. I think like times before I tried to bring one of these in, for some reason they broke it or whatever. Yeah, I guess even with that I can't like really be too greedy with lag. Alright, here we go. I'm not gonna lie, I hate this boss fight. It's like the best portrayal they've done of Blag in the series, I think, but God knows. But they actually made a figure like this, like, you know, Premium DNA did a figure of him like this, I'd definitely buy it. But it makes you wonder, like, how big would that thing be? Because outside of Manus, like, you know, Blag is like the biggest, you know, is like the biggest, you know, creature in, you know, the Dark Queen's army. Again, with Manus, his size varies. With Blag, he actually can change his size. I think this is the first game where Blag actually shows he can change his size willingly. Or he can alter it. Normally, he's just like, you know, he's huge. But I would like to see a Blag figure. Welcome in, Ding. Damn it. Alright, here we go. Like I said, I hate this form because he gets all these invincibility frames. I mean, I want to talk because I take advantage of him so much myself, but... It's fine, man. It's not a problem. I know the feeling. And I'm trying to read the chat while dodging Blag. Yeah, I'm hanging in there, man. Trying my best, too. Switch over to Zids. But yeah, like all those dodges I was just doing on Blag, it's just a second ago, I wasn't even looking at the screen. I was just kind of like using my peripheral vision while I was looking at the chat. Then the moment I look at the screen again, I get stomped on. Alright, we're about to finish him off. But again, I would like to see Premium DNA do a figure of Blag, but Manus is the main one I want. I think I'm trying to... There. I was just trying to find the right time to smack him. Right. Well, it's front and center. See ya, Blag. Alright. Yeah, the reason I did this stream is because I just did an unboxing of, like, these figures back here. I'll have to show you. Stick around after for this or whatever. I got something I gotta show you. I just did unboxing for, like, the other two figures I got for Zits and General Slaughter. I want to show you that General Slaughter figure I got. That's how I started to stream off and everything. Like, doing, like, or actually I started off with, like, you know, just geeking out over Battletoads, like, talking about the backstory of them. Yeah, but I did play a bit of the original before I started on this. I got to the Turbo Tunnel, got further than I ever had in a Turbo Tunnel before. But, yeah. I'd said prior to going in I wasn't going to be able to beat the original Battletoads, and like, if I got to the Turbo Tunnel, I wasn't going to be able to pass it. I just wanted to at least get to it. And, you know, I did, so. This is, like, my favorite Battletoads out of them, so. Like I said, I just really do wish they would give us like another Battletoads game based around like, you know, all this. Because I said, I like the 2020 version of it, it's just, it didn't really feel as much like Battletoads to me. As a beat 'em up, I loved it. You know, as a fan of the series, I even loved it. I just, you know, feel like they took like a lot of liberties with what they changed. Like, for me, it wasn't the end of the world that it wasn't, like, you know, accurate, you know, to the original series like this, and they changed so much. But still, God knows, I wish they could actually, you know, kept a lot of it. You know, a lot of, like, what made this game, you know, made the series so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think like the 2020 one was good. I liked it. It's just that, you know, I missed this. And I really would love to, and as I've already said during the stream, I really would love to see like actual animated series based around this art style. But yeah, I think like just one of the main things just kind of frustrating about the 2020 game was the fact that they took away like so many of the Toad's villains. Because like again, like just playing this, you guys see like what I was talking about with the fact they got like a pretty like iconic set of villains outside the Dark Queen. I can't hit this thing. There we go. So I just wasn't really a fan of the fact that, you know, in the 2020 game, you didn't see Roa Manus, you didn't see Slaughter, you didn't see, you know, Blag or any of them, and Dark Queen was put in it, but she was like basically became an ally of the Toads. Oh, that was close. Whoa. Yeah, but here, though, the Toads don't really differentiate. I know I've said that word so many times during this stream. I don't think they do. It just seems like, you know, they all play the same. Oh, no, you don't. I just think that, like, this stage would be like really fun with 3 people. I think Amber said that when I was doing this on a charity stream. But yeah, I think this actually would be like so fun if you had like a full group. I mean, this whole game would be phenomenal with a full group. I mean, I know because I did play, you know, a portion of this with Mac and his brother, you know, like years ago. Like we all did like the co-op on this, and it was so much fun. I'm gonna go ahead and say it though. What I really would like, if I ever did make something of myself as a streamer, I would love to actually be able to track down the actual arcade cabinet of this. You know, and like, and actually be able to own that. And there's like any arcade game I would like, arcade machine I would love to have, it'll probably be this one. I got him. I don't think so. I nipped that in the bud right there. Alright, now this is what I was talking about before with Manus. Notice how they never show his actual sprite, but he's supposed to be like 78 feet tall, but I don't care what anyone says. I want, if Premium DNA does a figure of any other boss, I want them to do Manus. I love this guy. I still say General Slaughter is probably maybe my favorite. I don't know, at least boss in this game. But maybe I'll say like, oh yeah, for sure the TMNT stuff as well. But I would love to see them do a figure of Manus. If they, you know, if Premium DNA did a figure of Robo Manus, I'll be so happy. Just be able to be tricky, like, you know, in regards to, like, trying to figure out exactly, you know, which design they go with. But I'd like to see them do this one. Because in the other games, like, Manus is smaller. But I would like, I mean, I think if they actually did any design, it'd probably be this one, if they did a figure of him. Whereas it would be kind of like weird, because, you know, you never really see what he looks like from the waist down. Like, this is the most you see of him here. I mean, at least in the other games, like, he has, like, a full, you know, model. Like, Blag, even though Blag canonically in this game is probably about maybe a bit less, like, probably, like, a bit around half of Manus' height. You know, you still see, like, his entire model. Like, Manus, this is all you see of him. Also, another little bit of lore is that there's another, like, you know, unused soundbite that I learned about where they actually did sample Godzilla's roar. And a lot of people think, people think that it actually might be because they were going to originally use that sound for Manus, considering that he's basically kaiju sized. I think it would have been hilarious. Like, you know, he does a little thing where he shakes when he gets pissed off on screen. Like he actually would have done like Godzilla's roar. It would have been fitting. The guy knows the copyright, so they would have had to go through to actually be able to properly use that. That's the thing, you know, Manus is practically a kaiju, so. Yeah, this part right here is like one of the trickiest phases because those freaking hands of his. Welcome to Favor, how you doing? Alright, now it's gonna be a little bit easier. Here we go. Right over that candy shell. One thing I find hilarious about this is that once you get like his shield, it like basically get him about beaten. He basically starts talking about Merry Christmas and Twiddle Twiddle Little Star. I think he actually asked the codes for coffee, if I think, or they want some coffee, I think. This right here really isn't that difficult, because all he does is like shoots out little orbs at you. You just gotta like know your placement. Mine is perfect. I mean, there's like so much going on. Because you just don't want to be too greedy with your shots. Just take a few shots, move, take. See, and I walked right into it that time. Here we go. Here we go. Keeping that percentage down. We're almost got him. 3%. Oh, now y'all watch like the shield level thing down there. The thing where he's talking, just watch that. Where it's all danger and everything. Yeah, fancy a coffee. And Manus is out. What's the whole thing about, as I said before, the whole thing about him saying, I'll be back. I think that might have been a Terminator reference, but bad guys never seem to go quietly, so Robo's last shot reduces the Toad's sporty space cruiser to a floating jalopy. Trying hard, but failing miserably, to maintain their cool and flappable image, the Toads crash their bullet-ridden banger onto an empty planet. As Toads are the heroes in this game, they escape the mangled wreck completely unscathed. Using the teleporters that they just happen to have with them, they travel back to base. Again, though, I just wish, because it says Vulture Control up there. Let's see what my, hang on, totally awesome. You whoop the Dark Queen's butt and throw her her usual galaxy dominating plan. See what my time is. I got a new time again. That's a new record. It seems like I'm getting like a little bit faster in this game, but yeah, previously it was at 56, because for a while it was 57, I got down to 56 minutes, and now I got to 55. I don't know if I can do it every time, but yeah, that's a new record for me. But yeah, the whole thing with Manus, I don't know if that was actually planned. I mean, obviously it was definitely a Terminator thing, because he's a cyborg. But, or as they call him, I think it's like he's a cybernetic biogen. I think is what he's actually, the term for what he is supposed to be. But, like, I feel like aside from a Terminator reference, it was supposed to be like a reference in the sense that they were going to like have him come back in a later game. But, again, so far, the only time they've actually mentioned Manus since this game was in the little comic book series that was a tie-in to like to the 2020 Battletoads game, where it was a flashback where the Toads fought Manus. I think they actually got on the Dark Queen's case for sending him after them for like the 4th time or whatever. So yeah, whatever the case, yeah, whatever, I don't care. That's bullshit. It wasn't an hour, that was 55 minutes. Huh? Oh, because of Rash. Okay, it's saying if I would have got beat like 9 seconds sooner, I would have like, or like about 10 seconds sooner, I would have got like, you know, the top place. So I actually got 2nd place in this. Whatever the case, I don't really care about that. So yeah, overall I've had like absolute blast with the stream. One of the reasons why I kind of like want to play the 2 games where I want to like extend out to a full live stream. So obviously I did like, you know, the unboxing for the 3 figures, and then afterwards you know, we did like, you know, a little bit of time, you know, playing like the original Battletoads, and then we of course did a full playthrough of that. Because again, I played through Battletoads Arcade like multiple times on this channel, with like, you know, during a couple charity streams, and also like the Let's Play of it that me and Mac did a few years back. But you know, I just love that game so much, and again, Battletoads is a franchise is very dear to my heart. But yeah, basically show you this Deceptus. I don't think you've seen him before. I'm gonna do a community post on YouTube to show like that one right there, because I don't know if I'm gonna take that one out of the box. But yeah, so I've had this one for a while, and I did like a proper unboxing for it today. But yeah, I've actually got like the action figures. This I was doing before, so I got the Rash one, which as I showed on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Instagram, before I, you know, shut down my Instagram page for a while, you know, doing a little mental health break from social media. I actually have seen these in FYE. But what I kind of did is a little bit of a joke, though. What was funny was the fact that I saw the same figure in FYE, but they had it in a section where the Ninja Turtles were. And I actually posted on the picture. I was like, someone was trying to commit some severe blasphemy here. I don't know if they know like exactly what they've done. Because again, as I said at the start of the stream, for those who don't know, TMNT Battletoads was originally created to rival TMNT. Obviously, it didn't take off nearly as much, but still, it's got its own cult following. But Battletoads originally came out like about probably a year or so after the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. That's the Rash figure. And this is the Zitz one. Once I get it out of here. Yeah, so here's the one for Zitz. And this one right here, D, I'm not going to take this one out of the box because you'll see why. But yeah, I got one for General Slaughter as well, but but the thing about it is, I am not about to take this figure back out of this box. Well, maybe I can like squeeze it out just a little bit, but yeah, this this thing is just comically gigantic. Oh my god. But yeah, this is an 18-inch tall action figure. Let me actually yeah, I'll get it out, just show it to you real quick. I can do it from right here. But yeah, it's just hilarious. This thing came was apparently like the box similar to like a computer tower. This thing is freaking so comical, just how big it is. Yeah, I'm only doing this for you though, so you can kind of see it. But yeah, this is the one they sent me. I got General Slaughter, and oh my god, this thing is gigantic. This is probably like the biggest action figure I've ever had. I mean, this thing is like big. As I said, it's like bigger than like the Megazords I used to get from my Power Rangers back in the day. They kind of like showed like some more detail on it back here. But yeah, this thing's gigantic. All right, let me go ahead and slide this back on. And then I'm just not going to take it out again anytime soon unless I try to do like some bigger photography or whatever, actually pose these guys. But yeah. Like I said, this is like definitely, yeah, and this thing cost a total of about $170. It was $40 just for the shipping. I got a little bit miffed because the packaging it came in was like a little bit torn. So I'm gonna talk to Premium DNA about that or whatever. Let them know I kind of like was a little bit upset about that because me collecting these. Even though I do eventually plan to take them out, but I do want I like my pop figures. I like for the packaging for a figure, to be intact. And that's the thing. I really do like the packaging for this because it has like little sprites on the side too, as you can see. It actually has like the game sprites, kind of shows all this. So then little, the break-in is right there. So that's one thing that was kind of like a little bit frustrating. Because, it's just mainly, it took me forever. Oh yeah, this definitely was like, very much like Christmas time for me. And one of the things I like, definitely about the Zitz figure is the fact that that one I actually got, with like, my payment from doing the Haunted Trail back in October. Because, Rash and Zitz were about like $52 a piece and it was $10 for shipping. General Slaughter was a total of $174 with the shipping. It was like $40 in shipping. So, there was that. But the only thing that frustrated me was the fact that it did take them over a month to get here, and the customer service with Premium DNA trying to talk to them about where the figures were didn't exactly go the best. They finally got in touch with me like around the time like the figures were starting to ship out, but otherwise there was no real communication with them. And I definitely want to shop for them again in the future, especially considering this was Wave 1. These weren't the only figures in the Battletoads Wave, Battletoads Wave 1. They did have like, some little minion figures. They had like Rat Bones, Psycho Pigs, and also Vermin. I would like to get those, but again, it's not really the end of the world if I don't get them, because the main things I wanted was like the main heavy hitters, which was Zitz, Rash, and also General Slaughter, of course, is one of the bosses. Vermin was a boss in one of the previous games that you guys saw, when I was playing like Battletoads Arcade. He was relegated to a regular, palette swap enemy in that one. That I just kept on like, smacking between the legs, trying to put him in his place. But like I said, for Wave 2, they said it's supposed to be Pimple and Dark Queen. If everything I've heard about, like what they're supposed to be doing is true. I can't remember if it was Premium DNA themselves that said Wave 2 was on the way, or if it was someone on a Reddit post who said that Pimple and Dark Queen were announced for Wave 2. Like I said, more than anything, what I really want them to do for Wave 2, I'd like to see them give some love to Angelica and T-Bird. Because again, those are like, the Toads' like main allies, even though Angelica hasn't really been given like a whole lot of love in the games. Like, I feel like they should definitely have done a whole lot more with her. And T-Bird has obviously been like the Toads' the biggest supporter. Like, in just about all the games, he's like outside of like Battletoads Arcade. As you guys saw when I was playing Battletoads NES, you saw like, he was the one that was kind of giving the Toads advice at the start of the stages, being there for him and all that. And I just hate they ominated him completely from Battletoads Arcade. But I would really like to see them maybe do like figures for T-Bird and Angelica. But I also really, as I was expressing like very excitedly, the main character I want them to do a figure for, outside the Dark Queen of course, and also for them to bring in the Pimple figure so I can complete like the trio. I really want them to do a Robo-Manus figure. I don't know which version of him they could probably do accurately the best. Because again, like he's been in Double Dragon, he's been in like several of the games, but I don't want to talk about the one from the NES version, because if you look at like the way Manus looked in the NES version, see if I can actually pull him up real quick. I want to like, basically kind of hit the point home to you guys about how the fact that Manus changes a lot throughout the games. He's like, like Blag and Slaughter look similar in a lot of the games. But if I show you Robo-Manus here, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So, kind of like just doing this right here, trying to see like how he looked in... So yeah, just pulling up Robomanus here. This is how he looked in the original game. He looked like a... I don't even want to know what this was, but this is what Robomanus looked like in the first game. And in Battletoads Double Dragon, he looked like, this. Big change there. And this is the version of him we just fought in, Battletoads Arcade. So Manus is known for the fact that he changes quite a bit in each game. Like, he's like, one of the most, differentiated bosses. I keep saying differentiated so damn much in this stream, but, yeah, and this is like the sprite when you're fighting him in Battletoads Double Dragon. So, Manus looks very different. Very consistently, he's very consistent with his inconsistency. So, yeah, with that said, if they did a design of him, I feel like, honestly, his version from Battletoads Double Dragon would be pretty good. I do like how he looks here. But, I feel like that's actually would be, like, a really nice portrayal if they actually did Robomanus from this. An old segmented neck would be, like, really interesting in regards to having that as a figure. Because, obviously, you have, like, different ball joints for that. That would be pretty cool. But, at the same time, I would like to see them possibly maybe figure out a means to actually do, like, a full-scale version of this version of Manus. Because they've done, like, most of their figures from Battletoads Arcade. The versions of Zitz and Rash we got are from Battletoads Arcade. The version from General Slaughter we got is from Battletoads Arcade. And obviously some like the Minion figures are from other games. I think like, the Rat Bones, I believe, are from Battletoads and Battle Maniacs. And the Psycho Pigs, I think, are from the very first Battletoads. That's the reason I want to get a Psycho Pig figure, because that would be like very iconic, because that was like the very first image you ever encountered in a Battletoads game. But I really would like to actually see if they kind of figure something out with making Manus look like this. I mean, it's still not dead on to how he looked when I was fighting him, because obviously that was his sprite when you fight him. But, it would be cool for them to actually do something, like, accurate to how he looks here, because I just feel like this is, like, definitely one of his most badass looks. But this one is the one I feel like they can kind of, like, do more with. I just kind of feel weird about the little, looks like vegetables or something, like, for his shoulder pads or whatever. But nonetheless, hopefully we get a Manus figure. I feel like another one they definitely, could do something with that definitely needs a figure as well is like, the Dark Queen's other, big heavy hitter, which of course is Blag. We fought him. And, when you look at his appearances, this is how he looked in Battletoads Double Dragon. But you notice like Blag hasn't changed a whole lot throughout the games. He's like, obviously sprite-wise, yes. But otherwise, he usually looks like different. But obviously his best design, no doubt, has been like, from, Arcade Battletoads, this one right here. I feel like this has definitely been his best design. Just because, it looks like, it's also the most recent, of course, because this was the last appearance we saw of Blag. And then we look at General Slaughter, because like do it like right here as well. You see just, if they did a version of him, like a figure, I'd like to see this. But then we look at General Slaughter. You guys like already saw the figure of him. You see his appearance. This guy right here just, just enjoying that figure. This is like a well-known, like, this is like, I think, like, he was doing a video for this, but I stopped out because I didn't want to see how big the figure looked, but obviously he was very happy about it. And this is how Slaughter looked in the cartoon. But, even when you look at him in the cartoon, he still has, like, a look that's been mostly consistent of him being a bull and everything. Obviously, he looks very different here compared to the cartoon. And I think, like, that's actually how he looked originally, maybe. Yeah, you see, like, his look is mostly stayed pretty consistent, even down to his little pose. Because, that pose he does right there, that's what he was doing when I was fighting, when he was doing, like, the whole thing like that. So Slaughter, stayed pretty consistent, aside from, like, just being updated. Manus, however, is looked very different, like, just about every game he's been in. So, if they did a Manus figure, I don't know how they go about it. I feel like either they'd have to go, I would rather them go with, like, Battletoads Double Dragon's version of him, but I would prefer for them to try to figure out maybe something with Rare, or something where they actually could, like, make a version of him with legs, like a lower body, from, like, Battletoads Arcade, because that's, like, to me, like, the best version of them. Whatever the case, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here now. I had an absolute blast with this stream, definitely one of the most fun streams I've done, just because, going in, talking Battletoads with you guys, talking about how much I love this series, and just kind of, like, going in with all that lore, and showing you guys that there's just so much more to the series than just them being, like, a trio of toads they're kicking the crap out of, like, the Dark Queen's army. The fact there's actually some backstory they put to them. So, it's definitely a franchise I absolutely love. I really do want to see them do, like, a new, game based around, like, the old art style and everything, maybe in a cartoon series. I know I'm wishing for a lot, because it took us a while just to get this new game in the series, back in 2020, which took us about 25 years. But God knows, fans were showing just how much they love this series, how much they want to see more from it. So hopefully Rare may give us something else. But whether the case, this was an absolute blast of a stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And my next stream will probably be Saturday. Me and MegaD343 and hopefully some others are gonna be like playing some multiplayer games, and I'll be back from my back on my full stream, schedule starting on New Year's Day, where I'll be jumping back into the Pokemon Scarlet with the DLC for that. And I've got like some other stuff playing as well. I picked up Baldur's Gate 3. Eventually, I'm gonna play that. Got like a little shorter games I'm gonna be playing like along the way to try to like get them off my playlist as well. And plus, finally, just get around to them because I've been decided to play them, like Super Mario 3D World and everything. There's like a lot of stuff I got lined up, and of course, like more book readings and everything. So, anyways, I'm gonna go and call it here, guys. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Much love to you all for coming out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching my stream. If you like my content and want to see more, be sure to follow me and hit that notification bell. You can also find me on Instagram and join my Guilded server to hang out and join in on occasional movie nights, as well as check out my TikTok where I post comic book quests for my live streams. If you're an aspiring streamer, my website contains a collection of over a dozen completely free text guides with advice to help you get started. Sections dedicated to proper networking, report to channel panels, handling dead air, and many other topics. You can find a link to my website on my YouTube channel. See you guys next time.